Hi, and welcome to Draft Archetypes Skeletons. And I'm here with Tajoordan,
Hello.
uh, DDAVP,
Hey everyone.
and JasonILTG.
Hello.
And we're going to be chatting about the new set and our deck skeletons for it. And while we do it, we're also going to probably talk a lot about the cards. So instead of doing a full set review, we are looking at coherent deck and try to figure out what synergies can be good, what synergies we think might have missed, and so on and so on and so on. Right. So how we build a skeleton, that's very important. And that's an exercise that we recommend to anyone that wants to sort of pre-test for any kind of format. We use sealdeck.tech, and we recommend anyone to use it. It's a great tool, not only for doing this skeletons for this stream, but they do provide a website that makes it like particularly easy to do it. But it's also great to build your sealed pools on Arena because you can just import them and build it in a coherent way, playing around and testing different builds as you go along. And it's much more convenient than doing it in the actual Arena. So yeah, I would like to give them a shout out and try to encourage you to use them.
Yeah,
but the
it's
idea of
it's just a great website, and I think it's one of the best ways to like share a deck that you've built with friends or something over Discord and just get ideas on how to change it up. It's wonderful.
No doubt about it. It's no doubt about it. And also they're like super responsive to comments from the users, and they did extra features very easily. Like they're really nice guys. So the whole point of building the archetype skeletons is that we want those decks to be somewhat realistic. So obviously, like if you wanted to go for power, it would be nice to have a deck with like 7 rares and 5 signposts and commons in the color, but that's not going to happen very frequently. So we err on the side of conservative building, and by that I mean we have like roughly between 0 and 2 rares. Most of the time it's 1, but sometimes 2, with no duplicates on them. Roughly between 0 and 8 uncommons, most of the time around 6. Again, no duplicates. And then the rest of the deck is commons, maximum 2 of each. And above guidelines include non-basic lands and basic lands. Obviously, no limit for that. And through that, we are aiming to build decks, and they don't necessarily have to be the most powerful version of a particular color. Sometimes we build the decks that we think what the design team wants us to build. Sometimes we want to showcase some alternative options that we think might exist. So there's like plenty of different approaches, and then we can discuss the upcoming format through those decks. Move. Right, so before we go to the skeletons, we usually have a small introduction, and normally we talk a bit about removal. There's a couple of sweepers in this format, and I would say like 3 really big sweepers, or actually, well, big sweeper actually. Battle of Bywater destroys all creatures with power 3 or greater. So if your deck is down to earth, you can keep your whole board and wipe big stuff from your opponent. There is one ring to rule them all, a sort of Wrath of God that has a turn of delay. It's a saga that has a second chapter, has destroy all non-legendary creatures. So might miss something, especially that in this set 90% of common and rare and uncommon creatures are legendary. So I don't know how much it will destroy. Then there is Spiteful Banditry. That's red X, deals X to each creature, which brings up the vibes of Midhook Massacre, and that card was solid playable, I would say. So I'm expecting that this one is going to be pretty one of the better busted bombs in the format. And then there are 2 mini sweepers. Fear Fire Foes, exclamation mark, is red and an X spell that deals X damage to a creature, but it also deals 1 damage to other creatures that that the controller of the target creature has. So if opponent has the 4/4 and a bunch of 1/1s, you can actually wipe their board quite efficiently. You can cast it post attacks when some creatures already have damage on them and finish them off and stuff like that. And there is Black Breath. the thing that gives creatures your opponent control -1/-1 until end of turn, and then the ring tempts you. So they're like mini sweepers. Any thoughts about those cards, guys?
You need to pronounce fear, fire, foes correctly.
Yeah, I don't have that level of energy by the end of the day today.
It's true. It is later for you than us.
Oh,
I feel
indeed
like-
it is.
I feel like a lot of the better creatures. Well, maybe I'm thinking too much about the ring tempting you, but I feel like a lot of the creatures I liked more had like higher toughness than power. So I don't know about like how much fear, fire, foes will do. Sorry, fear, fire, foes will do.
Yeah.
But certainly, like none of these cards is particularly efficient at dealing with a 1/3 legendary creature.
But on the other hand, when you like bashing 2/3 into 2/3, then post combat playing fear, fire, foes can actually be quite a decent thing to finish them off. Otherwise, you just continue bouncing off each other.
Yeah, it's probably.
I mean, the card is clearly good. It's just like
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that one ring to rule them all is going to be all that great.
Okay. Notably, fear, fire, foes is deals 1 damage to each other creature. So you have to pay like X and a red to kill an XX, and you don't like get the extra damage on that creature.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I will say, if this is the big picture of sweepers, I'm just going to be jamming. I don't think any of these are that impressive, and there's plenty of formats that are like sweeper filled, and this doesn't appear to be one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
I
you
mean,
can go
banditry is a mythic, so that's the redeeming quality because that thing is good.
I mean, banditry is good, but like, okay, let me put it this way: I think banditry is worse than like 3 white, like 3 red, destroy all creatures. I think banditry is just worse than that. Like the treasures are nice, but like I feel like the treasures are nice, but the sweeper is a bit overcosted. The busted thing about Meat Hook was that it like was
Stabilized.
so,
all the triggers.
The drain life was so impactful.
Oh,
to be
yeah.
fair, it still has some of the similar things to Meat Hook where you can make it one-sided and that's busted. But also, I think red looked more aggressive, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, banditry might have a role to be one-sided. Plague Wind if you're like red-green, but I'm not sure how good that deck will be. So yeah, it's probably going to be pretty, not unilateral. It's going to affect everybody.
All right, let's move on.
We got the data.
We got the data. We got the data on damage. I usually debut it on the skeleton stream because I'm way behind writing my article about it. So first of all, this format is, I mean, it's not super big when I think about it. It's like over 90% of the common and uncommon creatures have power 4 or less. So there's rarely anything that has power over 4. So I guess 4 is the magic number. 5 toughness creatures will be almost unkillable by anything except for, combat tricks or unconditional removal. Second of all, there is plenty of X1s at common, and obviously not so many at high rarities. But 27 is actually quite 27%, 28% is quite a high number. Normally, that is usually something like 20% of them, or maybe 16% of the creatures have toughness 1. So there is plenty of those. I don't think that it makes a Cast into the Fire a good card, but it's worth noticing that exists. I think there is a cycle of the 2/1 creatures in common that are in every color, and because of that, the numbers are slightly inflated. And also something I don't count in those numbers. There's a bunch of cards that make 2/1/1 tokens, 2/1/1 tokens with flying, 3/1/1 flying tokens. And so there will be a bunch of X1s, which maybe is more important for fear, fire, foes than for Cast into the Fire. Around 50% with toughness 2 at common level, but when you go higher rarities, it quickly drops off. So the commons are more or less on par what you would expect from a normal set. There's slightly fewer uncommon creatures with power with toughness 2 or less. And then we go to free drops, and you have a big jump. So there's a bunch of creature with 3 toughness generally. That's like quite a lot actually. And then slight jump still to get to 4 toughness. As I said, around 90% of the commons and uncommons have toughness of 4 or less. And also 80% of the rares. So there's not like a massive amount of bigger creatures in this format. And like if you look at this number, for example, the 97.7% of creatures of 4 toughness or less, that means there is exactly one creature at uncommon level that has toughness of over 4, and that's the Tree Folk dude with 5/6 and giving 2 of your creatures +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. So that basically is 1 card. So if we look at here, that probably means it's like 3-4 cards that are above toughness of 4, and you get a bit more at the rare level when you would expect bigger creatures to dwell. And a couple of them are like ridiculously big. There's like a 9/9, I think. There's a 10 toughness something Tree Folk. And there's an 8/8 Shallop.
I think I put that thing in a deck. The 8/8.
Oh, and it's a 6 mana 8/8.
Seems
You put
good.
it in your deck, especially because it's perfectly on theme of black-green in every set. Put strong cards in your deck.
The Rock. Been doing it since '97.
That is true. All right. So I mean, the set is like slightly heavier tinted towards 3/4 toughness. At common level, the creatures are relatively small. They are bigger at uncommon level, but again, oscillating around that 3 toughness. That I think is like the dominating feature of the set. This bunch of 3/3s for 4 mana also, which brings back memories of Hill Giant. Normally I have a slide that has a bunch of conditional removal, but actually what I found was that there is not so much conditional removal in this set. There's a lot of unconditional removal, and there's some damage-based removal that we saw in the previous slide. But conditional removal really, if you would count it, is Shower of Arrows. That's the only conditional removal spell. And it destroys target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. It hits 17% of common creatures, 9% of uncommons, and 2.6% of rares, which makes me think there is not much flying in this set. There's like markedly fewer flying creatures in this format, which made me also upgrade some of the cards because if there are fewer flyers, then flying things become a sort of premium. Because if they can, like flying is not the same as unblockable, but if it is so much more often, then of course it becomes a premium mechanic.
Is there a decent amount of reach? I feel like I saw at least a couple creatures with reach.
Well, there is the secret reach red thing.
Yeah, that was one that stuck out to me. The
spiders don't have reach in this set, which is a weird thing, allegedly.
Oh, okay.
Was there's a flash green equipment that I like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Galadrim bow, I think it's called.
I like that one.
Yeah, that one looks nice. It sort of brings it's not the same, but it has the vibes of the Kaldheim equipment.
Ooh, the Elven bow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I mean, it makes sense that there would be less flying because, like,
Lord of the Rings.
There's already a ring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. The ring is sort of another ability with evasion built in, and also it is a flavor thing. It's like not many things were flying in Lord of the Rings. Really, it was the eagles and the Nazgul fell beasts. So, what I mean, we can't just make like Glorfindel fly or just Sauron with wings because why not? Because he indeed is a demon or something.
I kind of like that actually.
Yeah, he's not scary enough with that wings.
And neither here nor there, but
I mean, I already think that putting the flying spirit tokens is a bit of a cheat on their side.
Okay, that's fair. I did notice that on a good amount of gold cards. I like those though. A lot of gold cards in
Uh,
general.
But then I decided, okay, I mean, I can't just like leave the conditional removal with one spell. So I looked at some other things, and the first thing that I noticed was that when you think about it, you know that there's a plenty of legendary creatures in this set. But when I did the numbers, I just like, whoa, that's like 90%. So basically, 90% of commons, uncommons, and rares and mythics are legendary creatures. So much easier to find a legendary one than a non-legendary one. And of course, 0% of common creatures are legendary. But that also put me on Lost to Legend. White instant, put target non-land historic permanent on its owner library, fourth from the top. And historic permanents, if you don't remember Dominaria original, artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. In this set, there are some sagas, so that's an additional target potentially. But it will be mainly legendaries. And when we come to the next mechanic, which is the ring bearer also becomes legendary. So there is also an additional way of targeting creatures that are generically non-legendary. But if they become a ring bearer, they will become legendary. And that makes me think that this is going to be a solid card, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one I was definitely, assuming is just a sideboard card until I saw, your tweet a couple hours ago. So definitely follow Circovitz for the latest.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it just feels like I'll get to this on the ring slide, I guess, but like it feels to me like the ring is a pretty important mechanic in the set. So like this just deals with your opponent's ring bearer, and that's really good.
Completely agree with you, Jason. I think that ring bearer is going to be like a pretty big mechanic and like really important to the central gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I love this as an instant too. Like they finally find their second tempt card, and you just take out their creature before they even get to like use the ability on attacks, potentially, if you're not trying to blow them out. And now they have to find a third tempt card to get another creature tempted. Like,
yeah. I didn't even notice this was an instant. It just reminds you of like a couple of the other white sorcery removal spells in past sets.
Yeah.
So I just kind of had that in my head. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, and fourth from the top in many games, that's just basically as good as killing.
Oh, yes.
All right. And then there's another card that I thought I can put in this sort of conditional removal part, and that's Stern Scolding. Blue mana for an instant, counter target creature spell with power or toughness 2 or less. And there's plenty of those things. I mean, you can counter 4 mana, 5 mana things with this spell. Not so many of them, but they do exist. And it deals with 66% of the common creatures, 59% of the uncommon, and 41 of rares and mythics for 1 mana. And I think that's really good. I think that this card is going to be main deckable. And
I would not have expected anywhere near those numbers just without doing the research. That's amazing.
It's because it's power or toughness 2 or less. And this set is also smaller because you get all the halflings, which are not big.
Yeah, I mean it's rough because a lot of the like sorceries that make a creature, you make your 1/1s or you make your a mass token, but I mean you can always loot this away or do something with it if you're in a bad matchup. So it feels like at least the first one goes in.
I think that becomes my favorite argument in the set previews always. But you can always loot it this away.
Yeah, I know. there's looting like part of every deck, maybe. So.
I know that there's
no downside.
Yeah, but it's the same when we say because I mean obviously I do it all the time when I say that you just loot it away. That's fine.
But there's significant upside on this. I mean, 1 mana for a 3 or 4 mana. Spell.
This is the on par with the argument that we use all the time that says, it dies to removal.
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess it's unplayable then. Yeah. It dies to removal.
I mean, I think the biggest draw for me is going to be just double spelling like on turn 3 with like 2-drop into 2-drop if I'm like a ring bearer deck or something like that. I think I can just like really get out ahead of them.
You can also scry it away.
Yeah, I like that from Springbok. Yeah.
We are one step ahead of us.
Wait, you could scry spells to the bottom? I thought that was only
is that
allowable? Okay, so the big picture thing. Maybe you want to, since you are so keen on it, maybe you want to introduce the ring mechanic, Jason?
Sure. Yeah. So, the one of the main mechanics in this set. Is it the main mechanic in this set? Is this like the
Yeah.
only one that
It better be.
exists?
I mean, the
What?
food token is like its own thing.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I would
so-
say
so
that
this
the
has, like,
main mechanic
food.
is the ring.
Yeah,
food
it has
and
food, a
are not in all
mask,
five.
and
Yeah.
ring. Okay, yeah. So
And scribe.
main mechanic, the ring,
Yeah.
the big
The
thing,
only
the,
new
like,
one.
you know, one of one ring or whatever. Not that this ring, which is a mechanic where sometimes something will say the ring tempts you, and you won't know what it does because, like, you know, it'll just say the ring tempts you and not explain. This is what it does. So whenever the ring tempts you, you get to choose a ring bearer, like even if you already have a ring bearer. So you can like move the ring bearer if you want. If you don't have one, you can choose one, and it has to be a creature. And what it does is it gives the creature all of the abilities you have on your ring track. And then whenever you tempt the ring, you also move down your ring track thingy. I don't know if that's like the official name, but so the first thing is your ring bearer is legendary, very important in the set. There's a bunch of things that care about legendary things, and cannot be blocked by creatures with greater power. This is a skulk basically. So like if you have a 1/3, for example, they can only block it with their 1x creatures, and it's going to be very hard for your thing to die if they can only do that. Like, sure, they can block it with a 1/1 death touch, or they can triple block it with 3 1-power creatures, but like it's gonna be hard for 1x creatures to get killed if they're ring bearers. Second ability, when it attacks you, loot, draw a card, discard a card. Just very solid, very good card selection. Like looters are great. Like I don't know if you've played Vintage Cube, like classic like Merfolk looter kind of effects, like 1/1s that are unblockable and loot when they attack. Those have always been pretty good.
R.I.P. Looter and Core.
I mean, so we now have Suspicious Stowaway. But anyways, third one, whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices it at end of combat. This one I think is going to be less impactful, partly because the first ability is already making it somewhat unblockable. But it means like your 1/3 can't be blocked by a 3/1/3, like 3/1/3s, because, well, I mean they could do that, but then they'd lose all of their 1/3s to trade. And then the last one, when your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. That is a lot of life. 3 is a lot. Like hitting your opponent I would say that the best 2 tiers here are the second and the fourth, probably. Like the most impactful ones, because like you get the card advantage from the second one, and the fourth tier like just closes the game super quickly. So yeah, I think this will be a very important mechanic, and the important part is if someone deals with your ring bearer, like a removal spell, or like we just saw the removal spell that hits legendary creatures, which will always be able to hit your ring bearer, then you won't have a ring bearer anymore, so you'll have to get tempted again in order to get one again.
I have one question on how, if you have your ring bearer and it gets removed, and then I cast another, like I have a creature in play and I cast like the draw card, ring tempts you, and I choose my creature. I still have my ring emblem in play with like 2 meters on it, and I go down to the third with that tempt when I name my ring bearer.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
You never, you always like, you can only move forward on the ring track.
And
you can't ever move backwards.
Once you get to 4, it doesn't loop around again like initiative or like a dungeon or anything like that. It's just you have the ring fully tempted.
Yeah. But still, even after you get to 4, you might want to keep being tempted in order to move around your ring bearer. Like it still moves your ring. It still lets you to move your ring bearer, which is important. Yeah. But
yeah, there are some effects that trigger when you select the ring bearer.
Yeah, I think most of those are at rare, but like
Faramir has it. The Blue Gandalf has it. You draw a card. That's
yeah. There's a bunch of sure.
I think this is going to be very strong. Having played with the initiative in like Legacy and Vintage, and having played with regular dungeons in AFR, where the Black-White Barrowin veteran Dungeoneer deck was very strong. These kind of effects in Limited are just really good. You can kind of get a little snowbally at times with cards at like common and uncommon rarity, which is a powerful place to be.
I think Oh yeah, you first, Jason. Yeah.
Oh no, you go first.
So we looked at the white instant, but there's a 3 blue instant that'll like tuck a card, and oftentimes seems like the ring bearer is going to be some like 2 or 3 drop that maybe otherwise wouldn't have good attacks, and maybe they don't want to draw again but are happy to have as their ring bearer. So it might give those a little extra utility. Like you put it back in their deck, they're going to have to draw that card in 2 turns or 4 turns.
Yeah.
When they don't want to, and then they have to find their attempt card. But now you've just put another card in their deck that keeps them from finding that maybe. So
yeah, exactly.
Some.
On the big picture blue slide, I put a card that like looks kind of unassuming, but I think is really good.
I'm excited.
Specifically for like really good as like maybe a 1 or 2 of specifically for stopping ring tempting. But yeah, like that's a good point that like a lot of ring bearers will be like 2 drops that are like not that impressive if they're not ring bearers. So it's like I think it's quite important to have like some like tempo-y removal for those. I will note that unlike dungeons, I think the ring is less snowbally because you don't get card advantage from the ring except from the second ability. That is like the only card advantage you get from it. Everything else is like aggression or like unblockability, which is like similar to which is part of aggression. Right?
I think you start abyssing the people though at a certain point with the unblockability because like it does just kind of like go real fast is my thought.
But like it doesn't snowball, it ends the game, right?
Fair. I mean, I guess if you start forcing chumps, I might have used snowball wrong in that effect then.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the dungeon cards were a lot of like, oh, you get a bunch of value, and then that draws you into more cards that venture, and then eventually that causes you to win.
And the initiative was just it kills you.
Yeah, this is not the initiative, thankfully.
Yeah, it's not the initiative. You don't get a free tempt every turn.
I don't think that it will break legacy.
No. But I think this will be. I think this might be like kind of the thing that the format warps around in limited.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think it will be that powerful.
Oh, I do think that I do think like the thing you said about snowballing is exactly why I'm the most excited about the second ability, because the second ability means that you do start snowballing because you do like start getting card advantage, like shaping your hand, things like that.
Yep, the second is what it's all about for me. And then
you're upping your win rate probably 3 to 5% every turn you get to use the second ability, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That will be interesting if we can get the data on which level of the ring did you manage to get to and what was the result of the match. But
if there's one person I think that can do it, I think I might know him.
I can analyze the data. Just getting the data, that might be a problem. Right, so let's talk about the potential ring bearers.
Woo!
I mean,
Bill.
I made my
that's my boy.
Yeah.
I made my opinion about the ring bearers known on the Twitter thing.
Oh, I missed
and I just picked Bill the Pony as my preferred.
Well, I mean,
it was a deeper. It was a multi-level joke also because I don't know if you remember, but like in the 90s there was this Lord of the Ring collectible card game, and one of the things why it failed was that in the card design, the most busted card in that game was Bill the Pony. And people got angry that, you buy the game and you have the Smaug, you have Bilbo, you have Frodo, and they're all rubbish. And Bill the Pony is just ultra busted. So
I love that. That's like my kind of game. I think Bill the Pony might be the most busted, like uncommon.
They had to ban Bill the Pony there. So yeah.
Bill the Pony has so much text in this one too. Oh my god, it could be busted.
So that was part of the joke that I have to explain. So clearly a good joke.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think Bill the Pony is honestly a decent ring bearer because 4 toughness, 1 power, can't be blocked by much, and also easily becomes a 4/4 that still cannot be blocked by things. And I think that there's enough food potential that it can do it for several turns if you build your deck right.
Oh. So yeah, because you can actually like sack the food at instant speed. So like you can force them to only block with 1 power creatures and then make it a 4 power.
I mean, even if you do it,
you can block it. You can do it before. It will still have power of 1, and they can.
Oh, yep. Okay, yep. It doesn't actually. It just assigns combat damage. Okay, good call. It's not weirding. It's just.
Yeah, but I see that someone put multiple versions of the ring bearers, including Frodo Baggins. That's a ridiculous idea that Frodo Baggins would be a ring bearer.
Frodo.
Yeah. I think, like I said before, like 1/3 is like a perfect stat line for a ring bearer. Like the play pattern, I think will be like you're just chipping in for a couple damage and like getting some loots in. Probably like you ideally want something that's like low power, high toughness with like something that gets value on attacks, like the Scry one on the Elf or like the Tapper on the Nimble Hobbit. and that lets you really go off with the ring. So you're like getting value, and eventually you work up to making it basically a 4-power creature with your opponent loses 3 when it connects, and like an unblockable 4-power creature just ends the game like very quickly. I will note I put Mirkwood Spider on this slide, not because I like it as a ring bearer, but because I like it as a ring blocker. Mirkwood Spider destroys ring attackers. Very.
I like it just as a cute little guy. I love a 1/1. There's not enough 1-drops in this set. Was my big takeaway.
Oh yeah, no, that's why my skeletons. Spoiler alert. Do feature land cycling cards quite prominently, because I think since you don't have anything to do on turn 1, you might as well cycle those things.
Thin that deck. Yeah.
Big tangent. I thought it was really weird that there were 4 land cycling creatures that were fatties, and then the other one is like a concentrate. I was like, what? Why is it like a creature?
But at least it's on the theme of what the deck is trying to do. Like most blue things want instant in the graveyard, and that's a perfect way of getting into the graveyard very quickly.
Mm-hmm. True.
There anyone?
All right, big picture white.
Ooh, Rosie. Big fan of this card.
I mean, I can start. I don't know. Are these the slides that I did, or were they edited by someone later?
The only slides I edited for the colors were blue and green.
All right. Well, I mean, I picked 4 cards that sort of depict what the colors want to do according to what design team put in the set. Rosy Cotton symbolizes food synergies. That's mainly in green-white. And that's just generating food and accruing value from generating food. Rosie, whenever you create a token, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than Rosie. Mind not only food token, just any token whatsoever. And enters the battlefield and creates a food token. And there's a bunch of cards that on ETB, on Death Trigger, on certain conditions might do generate food. You can produce it. There are ways of sacrificing those food tokens other than just getting free life. So it won't be always that you sacrifice them to gain 3 life. It will be quite frequent that you sacrifice them to give a +1/+1 counter on something, or you make something tapped for attacking, like we saw in the Nimble Hobbit from the slide before, where you can sacrifice a food or pay 3 mana to tap a creature an opponent controls when this attacks.
It's also just any token, not just a food token. So if you use it with like the Forbidden Friendship, you get like 2 1/1s and 2 +1/+1 counters and stuff like that. Because
with Rosy Cotton, you mean? Yeah, with Rosy Cotton.
Yeah.
Some of them have specifically state that you need to sacrifice a food token.
Yeah.
Right. Then there is
says food on it. Or maybe it's creature or token. Never mind.
Then there are a couple of cards that have like overlapping synergies. So like Errant Rider of Gondor, a card that I do like quite a bit. It's a 3-mana 3/2, and when it ETBs, you draw a card, and then if you don't control a legendary creature, you put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. So that's one part of this mechanic. Having a legendary creature, having multiple legendary creatures will have cards do something extra. And as I said, with 90% of uncommon and higher rarity cards being legends, that's going to happen. And plus the Ring Bearer, of course. But also there are some synergies on humans themselves. And there's also synergies based on drawing a second card each turn, which this card triggers quite well. So this one is like on the crossroads of several potential mini archetypes. And I don't think that all of those themes are like all in. Oh no, I will have to draw 2 cards every turn because otherwise my deck is not working. But you will get that extra benefit if you will have some things that make you draw 2 cards every turn. And again, the ring is one of the things that will quite reliably make you draw 2 cards, and it's worth thinking about that kind of stuff. Then I have Faramir, because it's my favorite character from the books. Thank you very much.
Good artwork on this one. I really like this picture.
That's also good. But it has a couple of synergies that are localized in white-black. So if a creature died under your control this turn, draw a card. There's other things. Faramir's dad, Denethor, maybe my not so favorite character from the books, also has those abilities of when creatures you control die, something happens, as Gondor was bleeding out to stop the war with Mordor. Obviously, very very much on the theme of the books. So that's one. Something dying on your side, you get a benefit. Then whenever ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Faramir Field Commander as your ring bearer, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. And that's, I think, a cycle that spans all color combinations, if I'm not mistaken. You have those legendaries that when something else becomes a ring bearer, they do something. And Faramir makes a 1/1 human soldier creature token. But also, like white and white red, especially, will have a lot of those human soldier creature tokens generated. So that's another ability. So I tried to pick the cards that show a lot of stuff. And then there's also like very minor themes of equipment, and also here one there is also overlapping theme of humans. So that clearly wants to point you to playing this card in red white, because of course if that was very cheap to equip, generally every deck would want to play it. But because the equip cost is only cheap for humans and the bulk of humans is in white and red, you are more likely to end up in playing in the right deck. And I think that this is like a very important thing that is not like in the previous set, that in this set you have a lot of monocolored cards that are multicolored in disguise, and Dunedain Blade is one of those things. Anything to add?
I mean, I guess in particular, although some of these maybe want to be gold cards, I mean, some of them can just be early picks because they're going to play well in a variety of different like white X types of decks. But some are going to be very like white red or white green or things like that, which might affect your drafting strategy if you're not sure what's going to be open at the table and trying to read signals and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to be an art to try to make them work also in the non two-color decks of your choice kind of situation. And this leads to problems, because what was the last set when we had those secret gold cards? Well, that was Phyrexia LB1, I guess. No? There was plenty of those, because of Toxic, there was plenty of those cards that were sort of monocolored but two-colored, really. And that led to the bad feels a bit in the drafts when you picked the right lane so that the color pair was open, but you just opened the wrong half of the colors, and then you ended up with like, oh, I can't have enough playables because I opened not the human synergy in white, but I did the food synergies, and all of a sudden it sucks to be you, basically.
Yeah, you're going to have to really pay attention to what you're seeing come across for all the colors. Yeah.
My only thought is a lot of those white cards are pretty expensive, and you're definitely going to need some cheap cards too. And I like the 1/3 tapper that we highlighted in another slide. And I think the 1 mana 1-drop that like pumps the team and it costs 2 less if you have a legendary. I think that card will be reasonable in some decks.
Oh yeah, definitely. No. We're gonna go to the. We just want to paint the absolute big pictures. I mean, I picked the cards focusing on the mechanics rather than on the
I see.
solutions to the. Yep. Let's give it to Jason and.
Tempting.
Their creation. I want to know what those lines mean.
Are
you? Wait. Before you start, are you also planning to mail people out with Pelagear survivors?
No. I think you might want to reload the presentation. I think you started presenting it while I was working on it, and so that's like in the middle of me dragging things in various places.
Okay, that's what those lines meant.
It's the action shot right here.
I do like the idea of milling someone out. I do have a blue-black deck in the slide deck or whatever, and I put one of those in there as like, I'm probably going to win with these land cycling fatties, but like maybe there's a world that I mill someone out.
I built a blue-black mill just to be able to say, mill's back on the menu, boys.
You hate to see it.
Yeah. No. We'll get to the deck shells eventually, but there's definitely
nothing like 3 square mills a day.
Thank you. Yes.
I mean, the deck shells is just making fun of me for putting a lot of young red dragons. This is the good stuff where we actually learn.
It does not seem to be fixed.
Is that what you put?
No.
I mean, we can work with this. I like this visual, honestly.
Oh, no, it's not, because the stupid thing shared the wrong.
I'm feeling tempted. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Make it happen.
I'm going to do this.
I think that quite a few of us were in agreement that the one blue draw a card, tempt the ring is going to be interesting. I think
Birthday Escape. Yeah.
I think that blue might be a solid support color based on my conversations with Adam, as well as my own skeletons, where it can work well with, a bunch of different stuff. But it looks like we've got the updated slides. So if you want to take it away, Jason.
Yeah.
I was just filling time.
So yeah, I think I agree with blue being like a pretty good support color. There's like not that much at common that like is like that exciting threat wise. I guess I would say like there at uncommon there's that blue red card that everyone's comparing to Zenith Flare. It's not anywhere near as good, but it's like one blue red sorcery to like deal damage equal to spells and like instants and sorceries in the graveyard, and like the excess damage tramples over to their face.
I had a buddy wanting to play it in Modern. I was like, wait, why?
But yeah, that card's definitely not going to be nearly as busted as Zenith Flare. Zenith Flare was something else. But like that card still will be good. It's just that like I just see a lot of like very strong, like very solid like support pieces in blue. I would say like you have good interaction with Essence Scatter. With like there's also like we said, there's so many legendary creatures at uncommon, rare, mythic, and like if you get counter like Essence Scatter plus like a bonus of like the ring tempting you, like that's amazing.
Essence Scatter on the draw in this format just looks really good to me. Just tempo wise. And
then the next three cards, like the talk spell and the tap scry 1 draw and the bounce the ring tempts you, all three of those are like really good against like ring tempting. Like if your opponent has a ring bearer, right? Like we said before, like I think Adam mentioned this. If they just have a random 1/3 2-drop that they like put the ring on, and they're like relying on that as their game plan, and then you tuck it, and then they have to draw a 1/3 for 2 again. That's horrible. Very similarly, the card that I think is like going to like fly under the radar a bit, but like will be quite good is Soothing of Smeagol, the bounce spell plus the ring tempts you, because
I love it.
Yeah, you get to take away your opponent's ring bearer and get your own. And that seems really powerful to me. Like if games are going to be about the ring bearer, that card is like a 2-for-1 on the ring, you know?
I remember when I read Divide by Zero that ended up being a busted Strixhaven card, and it said like return a non-token feature, and I was like, I wonder why it says that. And I would be willing to bet that this card was too good and they had to put that on there in testing or something, because
they didn't want to kill the mascots.
Like literally,
you don't want to kill an ass, really.
No, exactly. And I think that much.
I remember in War of the Spark there was the blue bounce spell, which was sorcery speed, 2 mana, bounce at anything, amass 1, and that was like one of the best commons, and probably like they've learned from that.
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, also just the tap spell, like I compared it like in our DM chat to
Study Break.
Yeah.
Scry 1 draw card I think is mostly slightly worse than Learn, but also could be slightly better. Depending on like how your deck is built, and tap 1 creature is obviously worse than tap 2, but like it's not that far off. It's just very solid.
Totally agree. I started the conversation with like, y'all might laugh at how many of these knots I have in my decks, and everyone was like, no, and I'm like, all right. We're in business, baby.
Yeah. Also, I think the nice thing is 3 of those, first they're all instant, but 3 of them are like 2 mana, so you can do so much. Like it keeps your opponent guessing like what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
Blue wants to play at instant speed. If it's
I really love like the instant speed package. I mean, I always love Blue's instant speed package. It's not always good. So
yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah.
but like Essence Scatter plus 2 like interaction spells all at instant speed 2 mana seems great. Especially with one of them with a Scry 1 draw tacked onto it. And then obviously we talked about Birthday Escape, just solid ring tempting, like very cheap, just replaces itself. And I think the 2 mana 1/3 here, Peligir Survivor or Peligir Survivor, I think that card's going to be pretty good, because like if you look here, every single other card I have on this slide is instant or sorcery, and like blue has a lot of instants and sorceries, and like blue red especially will be very spells focused. So it's going to be a mana dork pretty consistently, and like you get a mana of any color, so you can like fix for like random multicolor spells as well, and also I think very importantly, it is a 1/3. 1/3 is, I think, is just going to be a good stat line in this format because of the ring. Like that's why I put it under ring tempting, because it's a 1/3. It's like a good card, and it's also 1/3. There's like a green mana dork that's a 1/1 for 2. I hate that card. I love this card.
I'm also a fan of it. It's like good early and like relevant enough late that it might draw a removal spell in some weird situations. I'm not going to say it's milling people out, but it might be a threat enough that they remove it.
Oh, I'm mostly like not paying attention to the second line at all. Like that second line might as well not be there.
But I'm pretty sure that Alex in chat is advocating for some mill kills.
I mean, like, to be clear, I don't think it's out of the question. I think it's just like not going to be the important part.
No, you have to respect it on turn 10, but you can also respect it on turn 2. Like if these are all spells, you get something down and then you just do your game plan, and it's tough for them to get through it. They're going to have to use some tricks. There's not many 3/1s. There's a lot of 2/3s and 1/3s. Like it's going to be very annoying to play against.
So, Jordan, you were saying, imagine Essence Scatter on the draw. Imagine on the play playing your Survivor on turn 2, and then turn 3 having like 3 different 2-mana spells up.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like it's gonna let you double spell so early, and then it's gonna be the Ring Bearer once you don't need that double spell mana. Like it seems like it's gonna play very strong. Again, the 1/3 body. I might have been too high on the 2/1s in general, because the 2/1 that when it dies a mass 1 from black was a card I really liked, but now I'm seeing all these 1/3s, and I wonder.
I think you need combat checks for your 2/1s is the problem, and maybe the combat checks are good enough, but I'm not convinced.
They didn't look great, but here nor there. We'll get to that soon.
Yeah, the more I listen to your conversations, the more I think, you know what? I just want my Ring Bearer to be a 6/6 chunky creature, and I don't care that you can block it. It's a 6/6. You know how many 1/3s do you need to kill a 6/6?
1/1 Death Toucher.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like the 1/1 Death Toucher. I really like the 1/1.
I can kill that.
Oh. Whew, I forget what it was called. It was an enchantment creature.
I'm going. You know what? I'm going to use combat tricks on your 1/1 Death Toucher, so it's over 6 power, and then you cannot block with it.
Yeah.
Just to prove the point.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we move to the next color?
Absolutely. I hope it's red.
It's black.
Dang. All right. Well, it's just all busted cards. We can.
Yeah, black's not good. Next one. No.
Yeah.
All these cards are so much better than all the other cards.
I think Sirith Ungol Patrol might be a bit on the weaker side because it's a 5-mana 4/5, but I think it's the kind of card that will be either very strong or kind of medium.
I would have replaced that with the 2-mana draw card, lose a life.
Oh yeah,
I think that card is going to be very important as a Hunt the Specimens believer.
It was not to depict which cards are great. It was to depict the themes,
strategies. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Elucidate.
And that include Amass from the Dunland Cribane. Claim the Precious has the Ring Tempting, which is quite dominant in black. Then you have the Sacrifice theme with Nasty End, and there's the sub theme of Food in Sirith Ungol Patrol, which, by the way, should have been just a 3-mana 1/3, and then would be perfect. But 5-mana 4/5, I don't want to tap it to create food token and draw a card. I mean, I will still do it. I will still draw those bloody cards and gain some life instead of killing people. But it will feel wrong.
There's probably a black defensive package where you put that up there and you're like, you have to respond to this or else I've stabilized. But
this is basically Bushmeat Poacher. That's basically.
I would much prefer Bushmeat Poacher costs 4 mana.
That's the thing. They ruined it by overstatting it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you get the life from Bushmeat Poacher for the 1 mana, not for 3. However, I do still think that with both the amount of red and white cards that make 2 bodies on 1 creature, that in the grindy game plans, I think that this card could do a lot of work as a curve topper, not something.
Oh yeah, you got the scry recursive skeletons that you need a legendary creature to recur. You got as the chat Alex Canada noticed the trebuchet tokens easily sacrificed from
That's
that.
another great one. Yep. I also think that a mass is typically more valuable when you get a new body rather than when you pump up your existing body. So that's another good way to convert a mass into incremental value.
Yeah, that's why that's why I don't hate Nasty End, because I think that sacrificing your 1/1 army and making a new 1/1 army is actually a decent strategy.
Not gonna lie, I kind of hate Nasty Ends. I don't know. I don't really like Deadly Dispute. That doesn't make a treasure.
That's totally fair. I was thinking, as far as the sack thing, that it would be the 1 black, sack a creature or a token and kill a creature.
Yeah.
Because I like that card a lot with like the sack strategies.
I don't know. I like Nasty End because everybody's going to say, I'm going to bounce or kill your Ring Bearer. And you're like, well, I guess I'll draw 3 cards then.
Okay, never mind. You sold me.
Yeah.
I forgot you can sack your Ring Bearer. Okay.
Yeah. Because they're going to want to do something about that.
So. Oh, yeah. Then that card will have a big target on his back.
Yeah.
Even in Texas.
Yeah.
Any other ideas about black in this format?
I think it has the most strong commons on like rate and general card value in the set. Pretty straightforward.
Removal package is quite decent, I have to say.
Yeah, it's got good removals, got some built-in 2-for-1s. It can play very grindy, or it can just say, I'm going to put down stuff and just turn it sideways and make you do something about it. Because some of the tricks, like the Death Touch, +1/+2.
Make it food.
For a single black, like there's some stuff that can really help it play both ways. Yeah.
I think on day 1 you can just draft black cards and the open color and win a lot.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I'm worried about. Right, red. I mean, again, I put some mechanisms.
It seems really aggressive. I love it.
That's going to be the party police, or
probably, yeah.
It's basically aggression, go wide aggression, go tall aggression, go hasty aggression, and then some tempo aggression in blue version.
Yeah, this will establish rules for engagement. They'll have to work around probably.
I think that the red needs to be like really strong as far as like looking aggressively, because like the food token is the relevant token, and like food makes games go so long and makes all of your like little cards so bad. And so while I really like the red cards looking at them, I could see them just like even still like not quite getting there, and I'm worried about that. But if they do get there, because the food costs 2 mana to activate, like we were talking about in the pre-show chat, I think that red could be very strong. I really like the red uncommon saga that makes like a 1/1, a 2/2, and then like pumps the team with menace. I think that card can end games really quickly.
Benji, do you remember Eldraine, and do you remember Mono Red, how good it was in that format?
No, Eldraine is the last set that was released before I got back into Magic.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I was in like a 10-year break and started again. In
Mono Red and Eldraine, I highly recommend you, because they had those hybrid 4-mana signposts and commons. You could just play like. It was insane.
Yeah.
And food didn't stop it that much, because before they start cracking food for life, they're dead. It's this format. I don't think that red is as fast in this format as it was in Eldraine if you wanted it to, but you can definitely cope with food, because they won't have enough time to sacrifice multiple of them, and if they need to make time, they cannot contribute to the board, so they are stuck in a sort of tough decisions there.
Also, one thing
I haven't looked at red that much. One card.
Well, red has 2 commons that can answer the X30s, so it can continue attacking. Like it has the sack a creature, deal 4 damage to a target, any target, or just the really good new lightning strike. So it can probably maintain an aggressive plan. But you're probably gonna have to prioritize some of that interaction.
I think if I was gonna tell Jason that only 1 card matters in red for them and like the way they build decks, I would say it's Rally at the Hornbug, because you get 2. It's like Forbidden Friendship with like human synergies and like multiple EVB token triggers. Like that's the card that like if you enjoy red, it'll be because of that. I think after looking at red cards a lot.
I lied. I've looked at 2 red cards.
Okay.
One of them is the discard a card, draw 2 for 3, make a 1/1.
Make a 1/1. Yep.
And the other one is sack a thing, deal 4.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I love a Reckless Abandon.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes face, and I think that's going to be pretty decent in a couple of decks. But yeah, I mean, like, there is plenty of cards. I just wanted to show that the main, I think, mechanic is a mass. There's a bunch of red cards that have a mass on it. It will be focused in black-red. then if you go more on the human side, all the Rohirrim are in red, and because of that, you got loads of human soldiers generation, like the rally at Hornburg, which is like, when you think about it, this is a 2-mana 2/2 haste, and 2-mana 2/2 haste is a pretty high rate card in modern Magic. So putting it on a common is quite pushing it, especially that it can also give other creatures. So I can imagine playing a 3-drop human and this on turn 5, and then the other human also gets haste. So there you go. Then you have some synergies with spellcasting, and there's the Erebor Flamesmith, 2-mana 2/1, that whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, pings opponent for 1. And then there is this like very minor theme in green-red of having high power. And this is exemplified by Eomer of the Riddermark, which has 5-mana 5/4 haste, but also when it attacks, if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield, you create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Mark, if Eomer is on the battlefield, there is a very small chance that the creature with the highest power is going to be a 1/3. It's going to be probably Eomer. Thus, smashing you in the face and generating a blocker for your 1/3 that you can chuck away because you generate a next one next turn, because Eomer is going to have a lot of tough power.
Was this like an attempt to fix Chimney Rabble? Like, I'm confused. Like, make it cost 1 more, but make it better somehow?
Chimney Rabble was never broken. Like, it's in this set again as a white card. They just need to take the haste away.
Well,
like, why did they put that?
I always count the haste as like taking away 1 mana from the cost. So I think that
Marshall was fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't they like print Daybreak Marshall in the set?
Yeah,
basically?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
It is a functional reprint. Yeah.
You mean Clarion Cathars?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, tell us, Jason. What
Okay.
are your thoughts?
This is what I'm here for.
Okay. Well, I enjoy green because it has the card Many Partings.
Same, actually. I love
I
land.
I enjoy cards that search my deck for a basic land and put it in my hand. And yeah. So like you get a free food token as well. That's so good. Like Lay of the Land is a somewhat reasonable card. Like we've seen it as like, modal on Bushwhack, and that was fine. But like getting a free game object, that's kind of insane to me. I don't know. And then you also have the best land cycler in the set in green, which is Generous Ent. It's just a Ravenous Lindworm with land cycling for 1. Which is insane.
Huge.
And it's splashable. It's splashable. I don't know why this card exists. But yeah, you just get a 6-mana 5/7 reach and also a food. It's insane.
It actually reminds me of the MH2 card, the 6-mana like 6 reach. Like it's like that good. Like it's that kind of power level.
There's like an MH2 card that's the same card. It's unclear why it exists.
Reach is a bit of a throwaway keyword here because there's just so few flying creatures. So
that's true, but like 5/7
matters.
is stat line.
5/7 does matter.
Yeah.
I
and
think
then like
great. Yeah.
You're getting some food off of this. There's uncommon ways to use your food, but some common ways that stood out to me are Mushroom Watchdogs, Bear, 2-mana 2/2, but you can sack a food to put a +1/+1 counter on it and give it Vigilance. So you can like curve Many Partings, get your land drops online, and then turn 2 play a 3/3. Or well, like you probably want to make it a 3/3 next turn so that it can block as a 3/3 as well. And that's very good. A 2-mana 3/3 is very good. I don't know what the stats on the like 0-3 backup creature or 0-2 backup creature in Mom was, but
good.
Streetwise Negotiator.
Yeah, it wasn't busted, but just like solid
60% probably, something like that. Yeah, very strong.
It reminds me of this card from Kaladesh that was allegedly busted. No, there was something that did it for energy.
Are you talking about like
a 2-mana 2/3?
No,
it was a 2/2.
Lion, like something Cub.
Fleecemane Cub? No.
No, it was the thing.
Longpuff Cub.
Yes, the thing that like
Just,
enters
yeah.
with 2 energy and then puts a counter on itself for 2 energy and like gets 2 energy when it hits.
Mhm.
I think,
it was like
I mean,
big time standard all-star. Yeah.
Well, the thing about Watch Dogs is that it does not snowball. It does not like grow.
Okay, it
itself.
doesn't feed itself, but I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you get that first start, and you're always like one step ahead in dealing damage because you play the Watchdog. Turn 3, you can play the Hobbit that puts a food and give it +1/+1. Then you can sack it to give it another +1/+1, and opponent might have a problem racing that.
I also very much enjoy the card Pippin's Bravery.
Ooh, yes.
It is
value.
+2/+2 is okay for a 1-mana trick. +3/+3 is good, and +4/+4 is very good. I would say, like that is a lot. Like if you can just deal 4 to face or just like win a combat by a lot, that's pretty good. Like there was a similar card in Eldraine, which was I think +3/+3 base, but if you sacked a food, you got +5/+5, but it was a 2-mana card. I think this is a lot better than that, and that card was like okay to bad, but I think that both of these cards will be like medium if you don't have like many partings, but like very good if you do. Or,
Yeah,
like,
it's also like
very good, just solidly good.
what I like nice about it is that food is just such a defensive mechanic, and giving possibilities of building aggressive decks while still playing food is just such a nice thing.
Yeah,
It
totally
can play both
agree.
ways.
Because like there's the white 2/3 that makes a food token and pumps for food tokens, but then like you don't want to sack those to gain life later. You want to like translate them into more aggressive threats. My one thing, like I know Sirkovitz was talking about like the flavor of like the story of the characters and stuff, and like I don't know anything about the story of Lord of the Rings, but like the name Mushroom Watchdogs and the art of like these 2 dogs staring at me, like everything about this card is like, wow, it's like wild mongrels, but it's like designed as a meme or something. Like it's like I don't know what's going on, but like this is the card that stuck out to me on name and art and everything. And it's also like a card that I like, but I'm just like, man, if this card's staring at me and killing me all the time, I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
And these are the dogs of Farmer Maggot, and Farmer Maggot was guarding his mushrooms because other hobbits are gluttons and they were stealing the mushrooms from his forest. They're not magic mushrooms, they are just normal field mushrooms.
This all helps me so much because I was just like, what is going on with this card? There's some story that I need to know.
That's why you have also a card called Shortcut Through Mushrooms. The mushrooms are very important because they led them basically to Mordor. It's a long story short, they got to Mordor because of that.
So you're saying they went on a trip to Mordor because of
on mushrooms.
Anyways,
so the spider's pretty sick.
I also like that green has some like pretty good like blockers and like just solid rate creatures. Like 1/1 Death Touch for 1 normally isn't all that amazing, though we have seen it be like really good in, for example, Neon Dynasty. Though to be fair, that one also it was an enchantment. But I think that like Tempt will make Mirkwood Spider like even better than normally is because your opponent is incentivized to attack you with like a creature that is normally going to have some evasion, but is not going to basically ever have evasion against Mirkwood Spider unless it somehow has 0 power or they like pump your spider somehow. But yeah, I think Mirkwood Spider will be a very important blocker for green decks. Then you just have a solid 2-mana 1/3 when it attacks Scry 1. Scry 1 is like worse than Loot, but like it's still pretty good value. And like again, 1/3 is a good ring bearer stat line unless you're Sirkovitz. And then you just have this like 5-mana 4/5 trample and ETB Tempt. I think that's just a solid stat line. It reminds me kind of the just the vanilla 5-mana 5/5 from Kaldheim. I think it'll just be like a solid creature, and like it, comes with some amount of value. Like ring tempting you is not going to be as good as draw a card. It's probably not going to be that incomparable to Scry 1, I think. But it'll be something.
I think there's a lot is gonna be great because we saw in Neon Dynasty, for instance, like Scry 1 is good. Scry 3 is fantastic. A repeated Scry, like the more you Scry, the more you're able to sculpt your draws, the more valuable each Scry kind of gets almost. It compounds into like just curving out and like playing spells and then not drawing more lands. So I think that the ability to make your ring bearer this 1/3 that scries and draws 1 is going to be super powerful.
I mean, we've played
to the Scry archetype.
Oh yeah, the Scry archetype is something I'm looking forward to at least getting once in this format.
I'm gonna have to lose to it to figure out how to build it because I couldn't theorize it at all.
Well, we'll look at some shells. We'll see. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'd say the 1/3. I mean, we've tapped 3 creatures to scry before, and that's been very playable on a 1/3. So like, this is a good blocker. This can attack. Like
Surveil, no?
Surveil.
Was it Surveil? It was maybe Surveil. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
mean
play
the
mid premier.
Midnight Hunt, yeah, it was
yeah,
Surveil.
larger zombie. Yeah.
Yeah, larger zombie was Surveil. Also, it was one
Which
mana.
was
Also,
important
it didn't
there.
need to attack. But to be fair,
Yeah.
it couldn't attack. But
Yeah.
And it did have the help of the Decades, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have some little, I don't know, amass tokens maybe or something.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, only one, sadly, based on the mechanic.
All right, I think that we're more or less done with the big picture stuff of the colors. I think, yeah, I like your vision of green, Jason. That was
Yeah, I
pretty-
think it's wonderful. This is very much how I see it playing out as well.
in many partings and mushrooms.
I'm gonna be on the left side there. All the fixing and food, not the tempting.
So we can move on to the skeletons, I guess.
Oh man, so I'll say Circo, yours really leans into the draw 2, and my second one is more of a flyers base, so they might be like a good juxtaposition of the two.
I saw Powell's was a 15 lander.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that.
I did lean a lot into it because I think
like I did a little bit on my first link, and then yours was just like, no, pedal to the metal. We're gonna do this. So
Let's take a look.
okay. So your second one, you said, okay.
Yeah, click the
let's open
second
the
one,
second
yeah.
one, and then we have
Yeah.
to do all the shenanigans with switching between the screens.
Yeah, mine's kind of middle of the road. Both of your blue-white decks I looked at first because I was going to start with blue-white, and I was like, I wonder what cards people are playing. And then I was like, whoa, blue-white doesn't vibe with me. And then I built a bunch of black decks and came back to blue-white like an hour later.
Well, there you go.
Wow,
It's
we
all
got some
yours.
signposts. Look at that.
Yeah.
Original.
I'm gonna trust Wizards on some of these. I think they might have. I mean, what do they say? They're good on 6 out of 10 of them, and then 2 they're okay, and 2 they're just totally awful. And so this.
Oh wait, there's more.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
always more.
Yeah, no, I did this one for Clarm. I got to get the birds in there. So
Oh, yeah.
I think blue white could have a skies type of theme to it, where it's trying to say, okay, let's get some creatures down, let's fly over, let's use some good interaction. Like we've got counter spells, tuck spells, the new wings from the cosmos, like a lot of things that it can do, and then it can play a tempo-y game with like the remand or reprieve, the sing, like. It's just trying to deal 20 damage in the air. But if that doesn't work, you can draw some cards. You can make some 1/1s and kind of go wide with the card that you and I both like, Taj, with the the 1 mana pump? Yeah, the Esquire.
Oh, yeah, the fake wings
Yeah.
of the cosmos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that too.
No, he means Esquire. The
Esquire.
the
Oh,
big
the
thing.
creature. Yes, I do
Yeah,
like
if you
that.
make some 1/1s, you can pump your whole team, or you can even pump your flyers.
One thing of note with the flyer strategy, as we talked about with Ring Bearer, there's not a lot of
Yep.
reach. There's not a lot
Correct.
of flyer features in general. So if your Ring Bearer happens to be a low power flyer, it's almost unblockable.
Yeah, so there's probably a way to build this where you have some of the birthday escapes and you have some of the things that make something go 5/5 and tempt it to be able to get a flying ring bear. This one didn't lean into that. Sorry, I have a dog barking.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, he's excited for the birds. Probably he wants to go after them. Yeah, yeah. So this is just a skies version, but there's definitely a draw to tempt the ring type of version that's out there.
Oh,
Yeah, we definitely got some 3 mana 2/1s in there.
I do quite
Okay.
like the 5/5 trick, like, kind of domes your opponent for 7 sometimes.
Yeah, no, if you've got a token or if you've got like a flyer or something, yeah, it can do some damage. I was a little worried about not having draw a card, but if you have like, 5, 6, 7 things that tempt the ring, I mean, it turns into every turn you draw a card and discard a card. So that might be okay.
Oh, I was thinking more like near the end of the game, like if you've already gotten to the 3rd stage, right? And then you like attack with your 1/X creature and they don't block it because they can't because you're ring bearer. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
you
yeah.
make it a 5/5. And then
Yeah.
you also get to the like when deals combat to them, they like lose 3 life.
Oh yeah, it's a build the pony impersonation right there.
Yeah, that's kind of a lava axe.
Look what they need to do just to get the fraction of Bill's power.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this
I
is
just like see that you have like a bunch of well, more on the flyers in the set are on the more expensive side.
Yeah. So
How do you think those hobbits things are gonna work with the?
I mean, I think hopefully you can make a 1/1 once or twice with the 2 mana card, or you can just put down like a 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and then just maybe you're flying over, maybe using a sting to kill their 2 or 3-drop. So there's probably a way to stabilize. And if it comes down to it, you might have to like, chump block with, your 2/1 to draw a card while you fly over with your 3/3 or 3/4. Like, I think there will be some races like Sky's decks usually do. But you can chump their stuff. They usually can't jump your stuff.
So
yeah, I would think that maybe even in this deck the golems Smeagol something the
one blue
would be better than this thing because it gets you on the ring bearer kind of train.
I totally agree. I think the stings look really out of place because we only have 16 creatures and 5 of them cost 5 or more mana. So like we're never gonna have the stings do anything. They seem like super out of place to me.
Yeah, no, it's entirely possible. The hopes or the dreams are you get your prints down, and then you draw a card with like your 3-drop or your flyer trades in combat, and you're getting some 1/1. So you're getting like some board for mid game. Like I don't think this is going to kill you by turn 6. This is going to be more of like a mid range, not like an aggro.
Definitely, yeah.
Like the red white will be kill you by turn 6. This will hopefully kill you by like turn 8, turn 9.
Yeah, this deck looks like I guess you got the land cycler, so you're good. I'm like, I almost want 18 lands in this thing, but
yeah,
I'm crazy.
So
no.
What do people think about the 3 mana 2/1 flyer that draws a card when it dies?
I think it stinks, but
I'm not jazzed about it, other than trying to use its evasion. So like if I can tempt it, or I can have a flyer that gets better with more flyers, I want it, but I'm not going to put it in like blue red. I'm not going to put it in blue green, blue black. Probably because it's probably not going to do its thing there very well.
A bird tribal for your Gwai here, the Wind Lord. Is that bird tribal? Yeah. I feel like what we've said about like there's not that many flyers in this set means that it's not going to like trade off very often, or like or when it does, it's like not that much better than like a 2/1 without flying that when it dies draws a card, which also isn't that exciting. And then if it doesn't trade off, then it doesn't draw a card. So
I assume it doesn't trade off because I've killed them with it. But if it doesn't happen, then I'll chump with it.
And that's where I'm just like, I mean, Windrake's pretty bad these days. So like if it's just a 3 mana 2/1, it just dies to like random like other things like the red X spell just like tags it in collateral damage and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know about this thing.
Foes.
Yes.
Fire, foes. Destruction.
The third word, yeah. Yeah, no, it's I'm not as jazzed as I would be if it drew a card when it entered the battlefield, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
if it did, that would be amazing. But
but I mean, stuff's gonna be tough to block it. Yeah, and if this were if this were Mom, for example, I don't think you can even like look at a 2-power flyer for 3. It's going to be awful. It's going to be outclassed by so many other cards. But
are you saying that you would not look at Preening Champion?
I think Preening Champion is a little different because it gets a body that comes with it. But...
we got it in black.
Yeah, but these colors aren't black, are they?
At home version of the Preening Champion.
Oh, please. We already talked about flying doesn't matter. Who cares where the 1s and 2s are? They're all just numbers.
I think it is significantly worse as a 1/1 flyer mass 2 than a 2/2 flyer mass 1, especially since like sometimes your amass will go on a already existing creature. So like you would rather like the extra power there is less impactful than on your like.
What do you mean it's worse? I mean, the bigger the creature, the better the ring bearer it becomes. No,
the better the bounce, army. The better the bounce spell.
First of all, like look at it. 6/6 army is a ring bearer that is big, and also half of the removal doesn't even target it because it's a bloody army.
And it's very on flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, carry the ring with a big army like Boromir wanted, the smart one of the brothers.
Would you call an army a ring bearer? Like it's more like a ring convoy or something like that.
It's because
as Boromir intended.
Yeah.
Don't get me to English plurals, but it's one bearer, multiple bearer.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Right. So we have this version.
Yeah, let's see yours. You
Yeah, I
lean
want to
into
see
the draw too.
Sturkovitz's. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, Sturkovitz's deck is kind of spicy.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, I come from the like old school sort of limited, but with some cards that.
Wait, old school limited where they don't play 1-drops? Mr. Akum Hellhound? Is that you?
I have a 1-drop in my deck.
Yeah, I know. Your deck is all 1-drops. I
cycles.
loved it. It was beautiful.
No, it's not all 1-drops.
Oh,
The white
please.
blue.
They're
No.
all
Yeah,
2-drops though. Yeah.
Oh, the curve did not exist.
I mean,
Oh, this isn't as good as I was expecting.
no, it's not 1-drops. I have one Esquire of the King. I have a bunch of 2-drops, including 2 creepers because I think that they are easy to trade off and equip you with more ring bearers.
Agreed.
I have Birthday Escapes because again, I want the ring to tempt me in this deck. Because the whole idea is I want to get a ring bearer quite early to the level where I can attack and draw a card, and then get my Guile here, the Wind Lord, for cheaps. That's the whole plan, basically. Plus, of course, ring bearer attacking every turn and drawing me the second card will also trigger Faramir, will also trigger Prince Imrahil the Fair, will also trigger even one copy of the Knights of Dol Amroth, which I don't think is a great card.
Oh, no, definitely not.
But in this build, I mean, I wanted to showcase what they want you to do. Obviously, if you want to have a ring bearer, then obviously you have to play Build a Pony because that's the last ring bearer we agreed on that. Faramir also not terrible because once you make something a ring bearer, it will generate those 1/1s. Those 1/1s can become ring bearers themselves. I mean, they are not as good as 1/3s, but if you can chunk your ring bearers quite efficiently, then it's all fine. And also, they will still kill something when you got to the 4th level. Now, I don't know if it's a smart idea or a totally dumb idea.
Alert, only 15 land to fit it all.
Yeah, exactly. I play only 15 lands because I don't have that much to do on turn 1. I don't have that much to do on turn 1. I can play the Esquire of the King. Birthday Escape is not something I really want to play on turn 1 because I want to have a creature to give it the ring bearer ability. I will sometimes probably play it. But I play also 2 copies of Lorien Revealed, which is the island cycling card that draws 3. Now, my rationale behind it is that this set is got pretty low power level. And, you know, you will hear set reviews and the letter you'll hear the most is D. Because those cards are not as powerful as Mom. It's there are some really strong cards, but a bunch of those cards are like underpowered. Also, the stats of the creatures are not very impressive. And because of that, I'm hoping that this set is going to play out much slower than most of the sets that we played in the last couple of years. Because it's much slower, best fixing and land drawing strategy that you can get is time. So the more cards you draw, especially in the archetype that draws 2 cards per turn, the more you're going to be able to get into your lands. Since I don't have those 1-drops, I have 2 extra land cyclers, and those 2 land cyclers, if I have them in my opening hand, will fetch me a land. If I don't, I probably have the lands. So that's the rationale behind it. And then later in the game, when I got to 5 mana, I can cast them, draw 3 cards, and that's even better. And that I treat them basically like I want to play them as a land cycler maybe 70-80% of the time, and 20-30% of the time I want to cast them as a spell. That's the rationale there.
If I'm trying to loot every turn, I'd rather have more lands because I can just get rid of them than fewer.
That's true, but
I like what you're saying. Yeah,
that is true. But I mean, I also want to, old school strategy of if the card power is low, put more cards in your deck. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to apply here.
So I assume everything in moderation. You're not about to start taking the draw, are you?
Not the former.
If he's got the blue counter a creature toughness or power 2 or less, maybe.
Yeah.
This is one tool I never managed to bring to the level that I wanted to implement on 17 lands. But I do have an idea of a sort of algorithm that will calculate whether you should be on the play or on the draw with your deck. It's just like
tell me more.
it's just a bit pointless because Arena in best of one assigns you whether you're on the draw or on the play automatically, so you don't have that choice. But I think that in every format there is a fraction of decks that want to be on the draw, and knowing compositions, you can actually calculate which ones are those.
I didn't know that I couldn't choose the draw if I wanted to in best of one. I've really that's never even I've never consciously wanted to, so it's never registered.
It's just probably to remove the number of clicks you're doing.
Yeah.
But,
okay. The more you know. Yeah.
This is why best of 3 is better.
I agree. Only way to get the draw.
I love having choices that I'll never take, but
the illusion of choice.
Oh, please. Y'all didn't do the Invasion Planeshift Apocalypse flashbacks?
Yeah, I was going to say, I like what you do because I didn't like the 2-drops very much, but you decided to put 2 of the 5/5 things in there to make sure you can attack with them. Yeah, the Dreadful of the Scorn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I like that because I built the way that I did because I was like, I don't really like the white 2-drops, and the blue 2-drops aren't great either.
No, they're not. They're not. But honestly, not most of the 2-drops are not that great.
Yeah.
So I just think, and in real life, when we're going to draft, we're probably going to fill the 2-drop slot with uncommons and rares, maybe.
Hopefully so.
Otherwise, maybe you could just totally skip it.
I'm surprised by the lack of essence scatters in this stuff.
Yeah, I love essence scatters.
No, because you play things every turn. You just you don't have time for that.
But that's because we have shitty 2-drops to play.
Yeah, this is tap out.
Those 2-drops are important. I don't know what they do, but they are important.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be better than young red dragons at least.
I'm pretty sure they will.
I think so.
Look, they can kill orcs.
Oh, come on! You missed. You should have said they can block.
Yeah, by blocking them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like the 2-1 that dies into 10 more than the 2-2 in this deck because
no.
I think
they are the prime thing. This is just like a filler because I thought maybe it's good to have something with 2 toughness for 2 mana.
You can bluff attack into 1/3s all day with those. You're good.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's how I'm going to win. All right, let's stop sharing this phenomenal deck.
Oh yeah, that one was
let's move to Tajoordan's.
Oh, here we go. Let's go. I'm ready for it. I don't know if any dragons in there.
Let's put Dimir because otherwise we will never move through the all 10 color combinations.
My Dimir deck is definitely a control deck.
Yeah.
Any demonic tutors?
I don't know. I probably missed out on that one. The blue-black deck was maybe the first skeleton I built, so there's probably some big oversights in cards that I realized after the fact.
No multicolor cards.
Yeah, okay. I probably just missed those. The blue-black 5-drop I think is great. I mean, it would slot right into this deck for sure.
Oh, maybe it's further.
I don't know. I don't know how good the demonic.
He got the cave troll.
I don't think it's hard to get really good.
All right. So yeah, what I was going for here is I wanted to build, an Orcish Bowmasters control deck, kind of like a legacy vibe. So I took my 1 rare as the Bowmasters, but no, I'm pretty much just a control deck. I wanted to focus on the combination of essence scatters with the good black removal and also using the blue land cycling card that also doubles the draw 3 to kind of recoup advantage in the mid to late game, kind of stabilize. I thought that the 1 mana draw card, lose a life, amass 1, and the Dunland Creebanes or whatnot, the 3 mana 1/1 flyers that amass 2.
Because we've been there deeper than most people, but Murder Master, that's the one that you mean by amass 1, draw a card and lose 1 life.
Yes, exactly.
So basically, what was the vampire from Ixalan?
Okay.
Something Zealot, no?
Dusk Legion.
That's Zealot, yeah. Basically, this thing.
Okay, yeah. It reminds me of Phyrexian Rager that's a 1/1 or Hunt the Specimens kind of comps were cards that I'm more familiar with. But I think that both those cards, just generating value and additional tokens, let you play the cheaper removal, sack a creature and destroy a creature for 1, which can allow you to bounce back. And you can just really kind of play an efficient mana game and deal with threats, recoup your advantage, draw 3s, and just rely on the power of the black commons that I think look like to me some of the best in the set. And I think that this deck should do well, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I think this reads very similar. Well, Not okay. This reads somewhat similar to March of the Machine, blue black decks to me, where you're like
Yeah,
have
I
lots of
agree.
efficient 1-for-1s, and then like instead of like winning through like things like Invasion of Amonkhet, you have Lorien Revealed, which is like maybe not as good, but it has land cycling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good early, good late. I think this deck could be super solid. I could see myself drafting something like this.
Yeah. Also, you have a lot of like random ring temps, like Claim the Precious, Glorious Gale, Soothing of Smeagol, like yeah,
Uh,
it just seems solid.
Oh no, I built a deck similar to Jordan, but I also built a straight up, mill them out
Yeah.
type of version.
If you want to take a look at it, by
oh,
all
let's
means.
go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mill
no,
version.
I haven't got a spicy
I
splash
just
third color.
I have
I just-
one of the 1/3s in there, but yeah, I was kind of like envisioning it more like Jason had mentioned, where it like helps me cast all of my sorcery and instance, and then like maybe it mills someone out randomly, or probably just draws a removal spell.
Yeah, like my only comment to this deck is that you have 3 land cyclers and still 17 lands. I mean, cut
Yeah.
one. Cut
What?
one. Come
Why?
on.
If I'd rather cast my land cyclers as like concentrates, you're out here with 15 land in your deck. Like I just don't really agree with that deck building decision. Like, I would rather hit my land drops.
I think you got one land with 2 mortar musters, but
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I typically just like to play my lands. I'd rather err on the side of more than less, but that could be a me thing. And
No,
yeah,
old school Magic, just err on the side of let's play 20 lands in your 60 card constructed decks because that's the way.
and
play
20 lands in your 40 card limited
100
deck.
card commander deck.
That's the modern way. That's my one big gripe with commander players.
Okay.
Every time
You
I
have
look
to
at
tell
their
me,
list,
is
I'm
it
just
the top
like,
or
play
the
more
bottom link for the build?
It's the bottom one. It's the second one. Yeah, you'll see a splashed Smeagol in there. Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
one
Oh
I
yeah,
saw
there
this.
is a
I
splash.
saw
There is a
this.
splash scene.
Wait,
I was not peeking on other people's decks, not because I didn't have curiosity.
I'm
but
always
I didn't have
peeking.
times.
Oh, I you can do whatever you want.
I gotta get ready with my critiques.
Yeah. Oh,
All
no,
right,
it's
here
not-
we go. Talk us through this.
Yeah. So a caveat that I gave myself is I didn't want to. At most, I wanted to have 3 commons that there were up to 2 of. So that's why there's a little more like variety in the cards than you might otherwise see. But the commons that I wanted 2 of to really lean into this were the Treason of Isengard, which is our mini Scob from the last set.
Ew. This card was so underwhelming to me.
Yeah, and then the Surrounded by Orcs. Oh no, this is probably going to be more meme than dream,
I
but
believe it.
Yeah, I don't know about Treason of Isengard as a card. Surrounded by Orcs I could see, but
you can just keep. You've got 2 Treason by Isengard, and you
Oh
just
my
play it every turn. And what can they
gosh.
do? Yeah,
What can they do?
you're going infinite right there. Yeah.
what can they do except like I don't know, maybe remove your
They
army?
can probably do a lot of things, but
Hey, we've got a glorious gale. I'm here for it.
yeah, no, you've got some decent blockers. You've got some interaction, and you just try and mill them out by turn, probably like 8, and just hope that you survive.
Can I mention one thing about your mana base is that you have 1 green source and a fetch land, but a bunch of cards that mill yourself, and that seems very scary.
Wait, I thought the plan was to mill.
I'm never milling me.
Oh, you want to mill the? Wait.
Oh yeah, no, this is to mill them out.
Oh,
That's
target
the
player
whole
mills
point.
X. Oh, okay. I thought this
Yeah.
Orcs thing was self mill. I'm just so used to
Oh,
like
no,
mill is
no,
always
no.
me. Like, okay, no.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you for
you're-
pointing that out. This is how
You're
unreal this
gonna
strategy
surround
seems
the
to me.
orcs, and you're
I'm
gonna
like, what if
treason
we mill our land?
Isengard to
Actually,
be like,
I would like to raise another concern.
Yeah.
You only have 1 forest, and you have so many ways of fetching it, but your opponent's going to be on the mirror because it's definitely going to be the best deck. So how are you addressing that?
No, so what I'm most concerned about is they're going to use their land destruction spell to destroy.
I have that in the deck. Yeah.
And then
I've got
swing
that in my
through.
deck. I am ready to demoralize some people. If anyone's familiar with Falter.
See, Smeagol is just the backup plan to speed it up a turn or 2. But-
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, all I can think of right now is seeing Treason of Isengard in the pack and then taking it, then saying we're taking the Treason of Isengard over and over again.
No, the goal. I've got to imagine many of these cards you will get on the wheel. You will pick
Oh,
up your
yeah.
interaction and your uncommons early, and then you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna try and stay alive. And then I'm going to play this surrounded by orcs. I'm going to put it back on top of my deck with this Trees and Isengard. I'm going to play this surrounded by orcs. And I've milled them for 12. And then I'm going to play my Mouth of Sauron, and I'm going to get like a 3/4 and a 7/7 and mill them for,
Yeah, and I can see turn 3 surrounded by orcs, turn 4 Treasure of Isengard, turn 5 surrounded by orcs.
Oh, yeah, and you can hold up your interaction if you have the survivors out there. You can do your Gale. You can, sack your one creature you have to your nasty end.
So the Scott was okay on rate, and it also benefited largely from Behold the Multiverse being a card. Is there any busted rare that would make Treason more valuable offhand that anyone can think of? Because otherwise I just don't want to put this. Yeah,
I don't think there's many busted rares in this set.
Okay.
Well, there is a rare that you should put in your deck, and that's the something dark Shroud of Mordor or something. You exile all this stuff.
Just don't want
Yeah.
You steal all your opponent's creatures from their graveyard and you get to cast them.
Shadow of the Enemy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Okay, now we're talking.
I didn't put Mythics in here, or else that would have been in there. But
little Shadow Treason deck. Okay.
Yeah, you just mill them. You steal all the creatures. You recast their creatures because yours are rubbish, and then you win with their creatures, and still mill them just before you deal lethal.
Yeah. You deal them damage, and then you do a mill spell in response to damage on the stack, right?
Yeah, and then make them draw cards.
Yes.
Just to show them that you could.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to the next color pair, I think. And we have Jason's Jund.
Ooh.
A rare
case. Jund's not in the blue-red pile.
Check the group chat. I think you tweeted to the wrong Twitter.
Oh yeah, you definitely tweeted from the wrong Twitter.
Oh God, well
it's a wild ass one, but it's this is totally. I liked it. I just kept it moving. I wasn't worried about it. I thought it was the new brand.
Sorry, I only just noticed, and I was like, I think you might want to know about this.
Yeah, let's not delete it then. Having multiple Twitters is not an easy.
That's not something I would want to do. I can't even keep one straight.
Well, we have people anyway, so that works clearly.
Yeah.
All right. Where do we have?
We're getting Jund action. Is that
it? Oh
it?
yeah.
There is the Jund action.
This is the Murktide deck of the format.
Oh yeah. So you might know that this deck is not particularly complete. This was somewhat of a rushed thing, and I was just I just want to put in a bunch of cards that I think are somewhat notable, and you can probably fill the rest with rares or other random commons, things like that. Also, even if it has 20 cards, this is I don't know, too many partings are basically lands. So maybe this is playing 15 lands with too generous and too many partings. But anyways, basically I wanted to point out that with this shell that Improvised Club is a very good card with many partings, because your many partings fixes for it, and then it's gives you 2 mana deal 4, and that's very, very strong. And then also Rise of the Witch King is very strong with land cyclers. It is a 4 mana reanimation spell. It's I believe it says each player sacrifices a creature, and then if you sacrifice the permanent, you can reanimate a different creature. So it's similar to if you've played Strixhaven Deadly Brew or whatever, except instead of being 2 mana and you get the creature back to your hand, it's 4 mana and you return it to the battlefield. So just imagine, for example, turn 3 playing Quarrel's End, which is why that card's in this deck. Make a 1/1. Turn 1, draw 2. And then turn 4, you can play Rise of the Witch King, and then you sacrifice your 1/1 and get back your whatever you discarded. Maybe it's a Generous End. Maybe, I guess you would.
Maybe it's a Titan of Industry.
Nobody knows. But yeah, it just seems like a very strong card to me. The reanimations, the edict is kind of whatever. You really want to be able to reanimate, and Generous End.
There, I fixed it for you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, there we go.
That's what you discard to your Quarrel's End, right?
Obviously.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe you'll play it, and then your opponent will kill it, and then you'll play it again with Rise.
Yeah, how they kill it? I mean, it's got ward 2. That's invincible.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, I know. They just block with the 1/1 spider.
Oh no, they'll counter it. Yeah. Oh yes, they will block with the 1/1 spider. That's why I have a spider.
Yeah,
you get
easy.
Spider
In case
Plus.
they clone you, you're good for the mirror.
Yeah. But yeah, also another card of note, Old Man Willow. Is the other black green gold card. I just think like the black green gold card just seem very strong to me.
That was my exact thought. I mean,
yeah, Old Man Willow, basically minimum 4/4. It grows over time because it has power and toughness equal to lands you control. And when it attacks, you can sacrifice another creature or a token, which means food.
Ooh.
You can sacrifice food. When you do, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. You just get to pick off your opponent's like small creatures.
So it becomes a 0/1. Because it was a 1/3, obviously.
It becomes a -1. Yeah, yes, exactly. so that then your card that like deals 1 to everything, fire foes, that card.
Fight.
But yeah, just ways to use your foods seem pretty good. And the thing is, I think the like most impactful ways to use your food are in actually red and black, kind of unsurprisingly, like sacrifice.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just excited about like splashing like either red or black or both with green to like make use of food and make use of these really, really good Golgari cards. And you might see that in my next skeleton as well. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I really like the fact that, I mean, every single card in this is just like there's literally like a couple efficient removal spells, but everything else is literally just a 2-for-1.
Yes,
and
lots of multiple pieces of cardboard. I have Mirkwood Bats in here, I guess, is like not really a 2-for-1, but like I assume it will probably deal some amount of damage to.
You've got plenty of filtering. Yeah, you've got answers. You've got the Watchdogs to kind of go up the board. I mean, it just seems like a deck that, you know, it can just grind for a long time and win a lot of intermediate games. So yeah, I like it a lot.
And also,
you totally abandoned the. Yeah, go.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that the Improvised Club, it deals 4 to face.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. But
I just noticed that you absolutely abandoned the plan of having any ring bearers in this deck.
Oh yeah, no. This is not a ring bearer deck. Like I'm not playing any 1/3s.
You play 5/7s. That's good ring bearers.
Also true. Yeah.
It's a great ring bearer if I can get into play on turn 4.
That is correct, but also, yeah, just maybe killing the opponent is just enough. Okay, so what archetype do we have next? Gruul. I can do my Gruul.
Oh yeah, my Gruul stinks. So yeah, let's please do someone else's.
Yeah, I think Gruul in general is not gonna be great. So
it's probably just a 5-color deck, like every other green deck would be my guess. And like you happen to get red removal spells with your green fixing.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think that it's okay. So my thought of Gruul in general was that it's not terrible.
Wow. Truly the optimist.
But it's just like, you know, it's just
misunderstood.
Wow. We've
play
got a saga. Look at that bad boy. Look at those chapters. I can't read that far.
Yeah.
It's just one chapter repeated 6 times. It's also it's also a lore jokes that ends have long lists of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's like a pop song.
Yeah, you can name a creature type every chapter, and then if you play that creature this turn, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So you play it on turn 1, nothing happens. You play it on turn 2, you pick, I don't know, Shaman.
Yeah.
You play this thing, becomes a 2/2. On turn 3, you play Warrior. This one becomes a 3/4. Turn 4, you play Troll, becomes a 5/5, and so on. So you got, if you set it up on turn 1, you can like make a nice chain of 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, everything bigger by 1, basically.
It'll forever be in my head as a Kumano that glitches out on chapter 2.
It's it's like a Kumano. It's a Kumano that glitches on chapter 2, indeed. But I thought that, okay, red green does not have an identity. They say that it's like power 4, but there's not so much going on in that power 4 slot.
There's not
payoffs.
No.
So if you don't have anything, then you just play the classic black green strategy from every single format ever existing.
Good cards.
Play the good cards. Yeah. And I think that it has some advantages over other colors, and that's
there are good
4/4 creatures. They have 4/4 creatures that
There's
are quite
so many
big.
4/4s for 4 in this set.
Yeah, I mean, you got Strider, that is a 4/4/4/4. You got Eomer as a rare here, that is a 4/4/4/4 that
can
has
fit
some
so many things on 'em.
advantages. You got those 4/4 tramplers that don't need to block because they're bloody
Just
aggressive
4/4
decks.
tribal.
This one is just a 3/3/4/4, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, wow.
There's at
But,
least like
you know,
three
what-
other green 4/4s for 4. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
indeed.
silly.
And then you have a 5/4 with haste 4/4. You got a 4/5, and you got another 6/4 that you can cycle basically. But the idea is you ramp to them, maybe using the Woes Pathfinders. I only put one of those, but maybe you can probably put two if you want to really go for the 4/4 tribal. You got some early things to deal damage, like the Rally at Hornburg. You have decent removal in Ent's Fury that becomes really good when you have 4/4s, because that thing it puts a +1/+1 counter if the creature has 4 power, and it gives +1/+1 until end of turn anyway. So your 4/4 becomes a 6/6 and fights with something, so you can kill basically anything in this format. You have another good bite spell in Friendly Rivalry. So there is a good removal package. There are those chunkers that are going to be, if your opponent is trying to plan, the kind of nickel and dime strategy. Oh, I'm going to make my Ring Bearer, and maybe in 12 turns I'm going to kill you. Well, they're dead now because your 4/4s did the job, and their 1/3 was looking pathetically as you're wreaking havoc there. So my plan for the red-green was just like straightforward aggro deck, just not nothing fancy. 16 lands, obviously, because you have Oliphant, which you don't care. You have a 1/1 drop in the long list of the ends. You don't care that you have that Oliphant. Hopefully, you don't draw it on turn 4 exactly when you need the 4th land.
Oh yeah.
But look, so much more often it's going to be in your opening hand than you drawing it exactly on turn 4 that it's worth it, probably.
Did you not put Generous Ent in here because you're like, I already have a tree folk I'm going to name with my long list, so I need
I
a
want
different creature type? Yeah. I think Quick Beam or Ent would actually be pretty solid in here, especially the Quick Beam to give trample. To
Quick Beam would have been pretty good. I just thought I would
not a 4/4, too big.
No, and the 5/7 is such a defensive stat line.
Yeah.
You barely want to attack with that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously, it can be very interchangeable, and most of those things can be interchangeable. And important part is the main philosophy of have big creatures, use them as removal that is relatively cheap, and put more threats on board and go face and don't care about any other fancy stuff.
Mine was a lot different than this. I had all like 1 and 2 drops.
Let's look at yours then, because I'm probably in between both of yours.
It's totally different. It's interesting. It's got like combat tricks and stuff.
All right, let's go to Jordan.
I think I've got 4 1-drop creatures, just maxed out on all the common ones available in the format. I was like, we could use some more of these.
Do you have the 1/1 menace and you're just going to make them block it and just wreck them with combat tricks? Or
I'm just going to attack with it probably. But yeah, I was just trying to just really beat down. I think you can just kind of like go wide, and like if people are doing slow stuff or like ring bearing, like the ring bearer does have to like attack and tap itself. So like you can just attack. I don't know if it's good. Like I said, I don't think that I knew what I was doing at all, but I did like the idea of like going wide with the Spearmasters, which are kind of like Valor Singers or whatnot. And you got the Demoralize up there just to finish them off because we were talking about, blowing up the one forest or whatnot. But yeah, I could see like, I think there's a really good red aggressive package. And this was just kind of like highlighting like that kind of thing where it's just like, there are so many 2-drops that just kind of like get aggressive. And like, if the food tokens aren't able to stabilize, or if people are trying to do slower, dirtily stuff, I could totally see the red cards taking over and being really powerful. And if the food turns out to, be quick enough to stabilize against the red cards, I could see the red cards underwhelming. But I haven't really played a food format in standard retail before, so I'm not too versed there.
Yeah, this is very different.
Yeah, this has a plan, that's for sure. Which probably works. I mean, you can get through 1/3s with all your combat tricks or menace or things like that. Or just do the fire of Ornak and can't block.
Like, I don't know if it's good, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a good Book of Mazarbul deck or whatever. And I think that uncommon, like if the red decks are good, I think the Book of Mazarbul is going to be good. And I had talked about it earlier, and I think it was Smurfykins pointed out that if you don't somehow stack the amass 1, you don't actually get a 1/1 and a 2/2, but you'll have a 3/3. So just wanted to clarify that with the stat correction.
Oh yeah. And I guess that you're waiting for the chapter 3 and
then you can really kind of capitalize with that. I think that card could be really good.
I mean, the only problem with it is obviously opponent has time to prepare themselves for.
True.
It's not dropping at you from nowhere.
Like the Fire of Orzane. You can't prepare for that.
No,
you can't. The falter.
But yeah, we don't need to spend too much time on that one. But I just
Right,
thought the
so
curves were
that
very
by
different.
process of elimination, that means that you're going to talk about your Selesnya.
Me? Oh, okay,
Adam.
yeah. Love to hear it.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not like my Selesnya.
Okay,
but
let me guess. You put some food in.
yeah.
I thought about it and decided that was a reasonable way to go. Yeah.
Let's look at the
I think-
food
Okay,
bill.
we got the farmers. You love to see it.
Oh
Farmers,
yeah. No,
farmers only. Let's go.
I love farmers.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
figured, watchdogs and farmers, that's a match made in
yeah.
heaven. You've got this one has some very big synergies on the uncommon side. Like you've got your Rosie to make, pump up creatures, get your food tokens, your Peregrine Took to get even more food tokens, your Butterbur, even more food tokens, and you sack them to your Build a Pony, to your Watchdogs, to whatever you need to sack it to. It pumps up your Hobbit Sting, so it's going to kill anything. Sack them to your Pippin's Bravery. It's very linear.
It's funny. I wonder. We must have like 90% of the cards identical in our builds, I think.
Oh, probably so. I mean, there definitely are some cards that
I think
look
it's
like
like
this would be good in this type
it's
of
very
deck.
much like it's it's nothing to do with our genius. Obviously, it's there, but I mean, that you're here. But I think it's pretty much on rails how they build food synergies. They're like so apparent, and then not. And I think that
completely
lots
agree.
of people will be trying to draft those food decks
Yeah.
early because they're just like very much on the nose.
This is like within probably 5 to 6 cards of my shell as well. Like it
Yeah.
seems like this deck just kind of is this deck.
And
I mean, mine
it's
obviously
good
had
enough.
16 lands, but that's a given.
Oh
Right.
yeah, no,
Mine obviously had a few bad cards, but and one Wings of the Cosmos.
I know. I probably should have had that in there. So I think Pippin's Bravery will be good, but I'm not sure what I want to sack my food to. Like it's probably the
Oh.
Watchdogs because it's going to stay big, but
I
There's
mean,
no
I like
spell.
options.
Just,
I think that
remember
Pippin's
that-
Bravery is great in this deck.
Yeah. Like sometimes you just like need the extra 1 damage compared to like sacrificing it
Yep,
to
yep.
Watchdogs, and sometimes like you're just keeping some food around for the next turn. And Watchdogs is only sorcery speed.
And like honestly, dude,
yeah.
Build a Pony. Why not both?
yeah.
Yeah, I said with Build a Pony, the Wings
Don't
of Cosmos
choose.
are just basically +3/+3 flying, no?
Oh, that's pretty nasty. Get your
Ooh.
7/7.
I hadn't thought about that even. I'm just a Wings simp
Well,
already.
you can play it on any creature because Bill can
Yeah.
pump any creature.
hmm
Yeah.
So
So is
That's-
Bill just like one of the best uncommons in the set? Like
Yep.
the more that I
think it's
look
very
at
good.
it has so much text compared to everything else. Like I'm just like, wow, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. Oh, 2 of these? Oh, 4 toughness? Like it's all the little things. I love Bill.
Bill, he's our little Sebastian.
Yeah, look at oh my gosh. Oh, well, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will
beautiful
say,
deck, really.
I mean, there's
I
some cards that other decks
Oh.
may want that are in these colors, but I think for the most part, like the 2/3 that makes a food, I think most white decks will probably be happy with it. But obviously, it like shines in this one. But like the dogs, nobody else probably wants it.
Yeah.
I love
And that's
the
also
dogs.
good. I mean, the fact that they have, I mean, obviously on Arena, I'm sure people will still play dogs in the foodless deck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, Grizzly Bear's good.
Yeah, no. Ask Garrett.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's got coin flip text.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. So I guess we move to the non-neighboring colors. I'm going to put
Ooh.
my black white. I have no idea what I
good
did there,
stuff.
but it's just my turn.
Yeah. I thought black white's interesting. You get a lot of value. You can do some sack synergies.
I'm pretty sure I had Faramir and the Nether. Yep. Oh, and I had the King of the Oathbreakers. I mean,
Oh wow, look at
is
this go.
this card busted or what? I mean, it's
Oh
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. 4 mana 3/3 flyer. That's a Ginny Windseer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4-mana 3/3 flyer that cannot be killed by any removal spells because it phases out when it gets targeted.
Oh, I didn't even read all that.
Yeah, it's gonna
And
be
it makes a
annoying.
1/1 when it does it. So yeah, it's just like not worth
Ooh.
even trying to kill it.
But that 1/1 comes into play tapped. You like can't jump with
Oh yeah,
it.
that's terrible. Instead of getting killed, it produces a 1/1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that the idea was to try to use the Nether to the maximum potential. The Nether has at the end of your end step, when a creature died under your control, this turn create a 1-way human soldier creature token, and it can also for 2 mana sacrifice a creature, and each opponent loses 1, and you gain 1, so drains for 1. And because of that, you want to make some cheap creatures. I got Shadow Summoning that makes 2 1/1 flying
Ooh,
spirits.
yeah.
I got Oath of the Grey Host that makes 3 1/1 spirit creatures with flying. I have this Haunt of the Dead Marshes. I don't know if that card is great, but if you have legendary creature, you can bring it back, so you can sacrifice it and return it. So that sort of like works with the Nether. You got Gollum, who's not exactly as good as the Nether is, but it's a 3/1. You can sacrifice a creature and return it from your graveyard to your hand. And when it leaves battlefield, the ring tempts you, so you can very quickly actually go through the movements and generate the get the ring to the 4th level. Then you have like a bunch of removal. You have the Claim the Precious, Lash of the Balrog is natural in this deck, but also Hobbit Stink is actually pretty decent because you can go quite wide with those 1/1 1/1 spirits. Another thing that you get is Faramir. Whenever a creature you control dies, you draw a card. So you basically, because you anyway want to sacrifice those creatures, you basically generate yourself an extra draw every turn. Plus a potential source of making more humans, because you can spin the golem, give your stuff ring bearer thing, and get another 1/1 to sacrifice for something else. So it's like lots of spinning wheels in this deck, and I find it very attractive that it exists. I don't know what Gronk the Gatebreaker is doing, and I think it's terrible in this deck, and it shouldn't be there ever.
He's
But
just
somehow,
attacking for 5.
I think I dragged a different card than I planned to drag because.
I've been there. It's a little like sometimes I get one above or one below.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
that.
Are you going for
So,
Gothmog? I would imagine Gothmog is what you're looking for. 3
I
and a black.
probably went for Gothmog because that looks like a better thing.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, Gothmog and
oh
Aeon.
yeah, that was
is just
definitely
what I'm
Gothmog because I
dreaming
wanted
of.
to give my spirits Death Touch. That's what it was. So yeah, that's Gothmog. Definitely.
You've also got to give them first strike with Aeon though, so it's just nothing they can do.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Out of curiosity, does anyone like, what are your thoughts on this like Oath of the Grey Host card? Like I was like so on the fence about it. Like it's so much material, but it's also so slow that I was like, I don't know if this card's gonna be like real good or like totally unplayable, but I was looking at it and I really didn't know how to evaluate it. So I was just interested on y'all's like opinions of this card.
If there's a shell, it's probably the slower black controlling, which might be black white or maybe black blue, but probably black white because you can like stack them and
makes the treasure the next turn immediately.
Yeah.
But it is very slow. I don't know. I think it'll be a card that's either like very good or just like
exactly. I totally agree with that. Like I can't believe the 1/1s come in tapped too after like 3 turns. It's like, wow, am I ever getting them? Like
I'm sacrificing them anyway, so
it gives you a bit of a life buffer with the food.
Yeah. I could see it being really good too because it's a ton of, and that's why I was super interested because I had no clue how to evaluate that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting that. I'm starting optimistic about it. I don't think that this format is going to be that fast that
I agree.
that it cannot do its thing. And again, this is like a perfect Mirkwood Pots deck, by the way, because I can generate so many 1/1s. I probably should have 2 copies of those, to be fair.
Yeah.
Maybe instead
I
of
hear
this.
it's busted in Commander.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, no, kind of jokingly. But.
Oh yeah, no, it is, but it is like already the most expensive common from the set because of the Commander people.
Oh, no,
but what card is this? I missed it.
The bats.
Bats.
Oh, the bats is
the
okay.
3 flying. Whenever you make her sacrifice a token.
Oh yeah.
It loses a life. Each
I feel like
Ooh.
you can
Each
put bats in
opponent, the
here.
power creep.
Yeah,
Wow.
Circo. Mine is similar to yours, but if you want to jump to mine, I've got a couple cards that are different that just really leans into the Sax energies.
I can do that. I have
Don't
that
do it.
technology.
It's a trap. It's just
Oh.
gonna be a Yorion deck.
Oh, you got me.
I will note, I have to leave kind of soon, so maybe we
Would it jump to your other one after this?
Oh yeah, I would love to see Simic ramp.
Yeah.
It's not
All
random.
right. So we do. So shall I move to the Simic ramp?
Yeah,
of
you can go to
Jason?
Simic Ramp.
It's definitely ramp.
Yeah.
It has
It's not
been
ramp.
declared.
It's not ramp.
Yeah, you can jump to it. Yeah.
I mean,
You
he wrote
asked me
X.
to build Scry Elves, so I did that. Like you
He-
said, like you didn't know what to do with Scry Elves. So
Okay,
That is exactly what I
Scry
said
Elves.
because I do not know what to do with this archetype.
Lesson number 1. I see that Jason wrote UGX, so I know it's Teamer.
Wait, what? What about Sultai?
No,
It's
it's
both.
Teamer.
Sorry,
It's
to be
Teamer.
clear, okay, I'll explain when the thing gets put up. But
Wait, I have to find it. Okay, close my black white, close the other black white, and we have it. That should be it. Yes, there we go.
okay, so
Okay, it's
when I
not
put UGX.
it's Sultai Teamer. There you go.
Well, when I put UGX, what I meant was okay. So these 4 cards at the right, those are the cards I mentioned before in my Jund deck that I
Yeah.
liked splashing.
The good
like,
cards.
like the good, like common, uncommon stuff that seemed like very impactful for splashing. And so yeah, I put them there as like, okay, you probably shouldn't like splash both of these. Oh, one thing to note, a lot of the good fixing in this set is search for a basic fixing. So many partings and the land cyclers. That is better with specifically 3-color decks. You don't want to like necessarily be like 5-color splashing. For that, you kind of need dual lands. or like a mana lift. There's a mana lift that might be good. It's like mana
There's
lift.
a
TTP,
2-mana dork that gives any mana color.
Okay, I mean I don't like that card, but
But think of how good it is. It's an unblockable ring bear. Oh, it's not a vendor.
I mean it gets blocked by 1/3 is the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think 5-color nonsense is going to be harder, but I think it will be pretty easy to like do a deep splash of like a 3rd color, because like find a basic is pretty good for that. And like the land cyclers are pretty good for that too. But here I just like, made a blue-green elves deck. That you have the 2/1 that it gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked when you scry, and only once each turn. So like it's a 3/1 unblockable on turns that you scry, which is very good, especially if you're also attacking with your 1/3 ring bear that's also unblockable and scries when it attacks. And like you might be, I'm like not completely sold on this archetype, partially because like it seems kind of tempo-y, but I don't know if your tempo tools are that good.
Agreed.
Partially that's why I like the improvised clubs, because like they help the tempo plan. But like you do have the tap a creature, scry 1, draw a card. That's pretty good tempo. You get like all of like the cheap blue interaction we talked about, like the bounce spell ring tempt thing. And then I put a bunch of like land cyclers because land cyclers are busted, and a couple like more expensive creatures that scry. I think that this deck will want to be like fairly low to the ground though, like tempo-y.
I like the curve a lot. I think that's like a good way to approach the format where you can just spend your mana every turn, like either, getting your land cyclers, your little stuff, your many partings, just get them in when you can, and then have plenty of 2s. I think it could be good.
Yeah. Oh, also of note, scry helps you find your like colors as well, which makes it better for splashing as well.
Yep.
No, I think Springbok brings up a very good point. You can just scry all your bad cards that you put in your deck to the bottom.
But what if there's 2 bad cards in a row?
You're scrying too. You have 2 of these 1/3s out.
Okay,
Obviously.
true. Yeah, okay. Touche.
I think
Well-
like realistically, you'll be in this deck if you get multiple Arwins. Arwin seems extremely strong in this deck.
Yeah. And that's kind of,
No.
The rare payoffs are also good. No? The Galadriel and
And it does not seem like the deck that people are going to show up and be like, wow, I'm drawn to this from the cards in the pack. Like,
I hope they don't, because I want to do this too.
I don't know. I
This
do
seems
like
uncommon
the Nimrodal Watcher thing. I think that thing, if you build like an engine to scry reliably with like Elrond or something.
is that the 2/1 that becomes a 3/1 unblockable?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I do like that card as well.
Yeah. but
I
I
didn't
have
realize
to
it was
go
elf
now.
type.
So goodbye. Thanks
Well,
for
take
having
care,
me.
Well,
Jason. Thanks,
thanks as
man.
always.
Good
It's a
luck
pleasure.
on the
Appreciate
rest
you.
of this.
Good
Hope to
luck
see
hunting.
many partings
Yeah.
in the future.
Hope you find a good deal.
You're such a generous ant.
Oh. Well,
There
that
we
was a
go.
glorious gale.
Yeah. Have y'all heard
Right.
the joke name for the new Attune with Ether? They're calling it Attune with Eater because it puts the food out.
Oh.
Okay. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Now you know. Attune with Eater. Yeah.
Oh, it takes so long to switch those windows. Why isn't Sander here? There we go. That's your white.
Sander's
black.
Yeah. So the
Oh, it's not mine.
So
Nice.
this one is leaning into the grindy sack annoying stuff. Like you want to put tokens out there, whether it's the little trebuchet you're throwing things over, or you're doing your little amass, and then ideally you can use Aowen to give your amass token first strike, and use your Gothmog to give it death touch, so they just can never block it, and you're just sacking all these things, draining them, going to town.
I can see what is there. Torment of Golem. That's the first appearance I think that we have of this thing.
Yeah, I think if you're playing the longer game, I think you're willing to spend 4 mana to pick out, their bomb that they're not going to get to play, if there are even bombs in this set, or the removal, or their 4 mana 3/3 that has all these abilities, or something like that.
Oh, then
if there's a spot for it, I think it's probably black-white because it's probably harder to get card advantage in other spots, and it is kind of a 2-for-1.
Correct.
Whereas, if you're in a blue deck, you've got that land cycling, like draw 3 and stuff, so you probably don't need to play cards like this. So it does make sense. I think I put it in and then took it back out of my black-white shell. But I don't know. I'm typically low on these effects in general, so I could see myself just being too low on it.
Yeah, this might not be the same as the war card because that costs 3, but it still might be all right.
Okay. We can move to Is It?
Yeah, I think black-white's pretty boring here. Oh, I like my Is It deck.
Yeah, go on then.
Oh, it's got a lot of Kessig Flame Breathers.
Yes.
I'd probably have 3 or 4 in there if I could, but it's just blue-red spells. I think that there is definitely a spells package, and I think it could be interesting.
But do you want to know the secret?
Yeah, let me know.
You could. No one's going to kick you out if you put some more cards.
Oh, yeah.
That this is such a build-around deck that I needed to put multiple copies.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the Flame Breather is a 2/1, which is an unfortunate stat line. I would much prefer it to be a 1/3, but I think that the text on it is.
I would be too busted as a 1/3.
Yeah, it's Erebor Flamesmith. Yeah, so I think that card is super solid, and I want to use that in combination with that unblockable 2/1 elves. When you scry and stuff, and just draw cards. I have the Knots, exactly. I think that the Knots is a very good tempo card because it taps down their blockers, which allows maybe your 2/1 to get through. It also deals another damage with a ping. You're getting a scry, so possibly you get your 3/1 through. There's just a lot of synergy with that, with Birthday Escape. And I mean, you can even see the 1/1 menaces, which aren't doing a lot, but that damage adds up with the Flame Breathers. I mean, ideally you wouldn't play those and you'd have 5 Flame Breathers. But I just think that this is a deck that can really cast a lot of spells and have a pretty solid spell density. I think the fact that there's cards that have a mass on it that are spells, and the Forbidden Friendship that's a spell that creates creatures allows you to play this deck has 9 creatures. I'm sure there are builds that could play less than that even.
Mine
is 5. That blue red is
what do you
a very
think about
interesting
putting this
deck.
thing in?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's probably totally reasonable. Does that deal damage to creatures?
Creature and face, yeah.
Yeah,
this goes
totally.
face. I mean, this is a finisher spell because
yeah, I think that's totally reasonable. I forgot about the gold cards in some of these skeletons because it's they're all uncommons and rares, and I typically don't focus on those too much in general. But I think that this is this is a deck that I'm excited to draft. It's a deck that I worry you might have to wait a couple weeks for people to get lower on the bad cards or something, where people might be taking the cards that you want too early and then they come down on them. But who knows? Time will tell. I like this deck though. I typically like the blue-red spells decks when it has a Flame Breather effect, and I'm excited to try this.
Yeah, and like it has all the hallmarks of spells decks being good, like the silly rally at the Hornburg is just
Mhm.
enough to make you have creatures that are. This would have been so great in Mum, and like rally at the Hornburg, Quarrel's End, all those things convoking, but there is no convoke here, so I'm just only worried that those 1/1s become irrelevant very quickly.
Yeah, maybe so, but that's why I mean you're kind of hoping to get there with like the ping damage and stuff, and if you're able to go wide and just kind of start sacking some creatures to get through, and plus you have 2 of the 4 damage to the face.
But fear, fire, foes, and all your
True.
pingers are gone, and
Yeah.
that's the
True.
problem with the deck.
Yep. Oh, I mean,
you can't put your
I'm down to
enchantment,
lose
though.
to an uncommon.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah.
I'll lose to an
Yeah.
uncommon.
You keep your fiery inscription. You can still go face with
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, that fire inscription I thought was an interesting card. I don't know if it's good or not, but I thought it was interesting here.
Oh, that one. Yeah, it is interesting.
I like it better than the 2/1, to be honest with you, because it's going to be tough to go in enchantment. It deals 2 to the face. Like
for this particular plan, yeah, it's
for
like
for this strategy, that is, yeah. So I kind of memed in the black blue with what's that card? Treason of Isengard. But this is actually a card that would be good to like put your Gandalf Sanction back on top, for example.
So I guess the issue is like putting something on top is just putting a card on top, and like that's just a gray ogre. Like I don't know, like casting gray ogre seems so bad. I guess the biggest draw is that it's a creature that like spell triggers.
Yeah, if I deal 1 to 2 damage with it, and I mean if it comes to like sometimes these decks stall out if you don't get the cantrips and you just draw into some lands or non-creature spells. But if you say I've got 2 of these treasons and I'm literally just going to play one every turn and ping you for 3 to the face, or put my busted uncommon back on top, like that seems pretty good.
I guess like when I look at like Quarrel's End versus Treason, I just think Quarrel's End's like a way better card. But maybe I'm just like wrong there. But it's just like
I like Quarrel's End as well.
It's drawing 2, and I'm just like I'd just play more of those, and I feel like I can get as many of those as I want. But maybe I'm completely wrong there. But yeah, I don't know. This Treason card is just wildly underwhelming to me, like in theory, and maybe I'm just wildly wrong. But it's I hate gray ogres.
I don't know. If I'm playing a spells deck, I want to make sure I draw a spell every turn. Seems like a good way to do that. Yeah.
And that you also survive, and 2/2
Correct.
blocker
it's a chump blocker.
is a great way of providing that. And it's different when you're just like returning random spells. But if you have something like Gandalf Sanction and you already have like 6 instant sorceries, that very quickly becomes lethal.
Or your foray of the
you can replay it.
Like now you've got a 4/4 that Flame Tongue covers them. Like
yeah, I mean, on the other side, if I haven't drawn my Gandalf Sanction, I'm trying to find it. The Treason is significantly worse than the Quarry's End or Quarrel's End or whatnot, and the Quarrel End is every bit as good at chump blocking as a 1/1 as a 2/2. Plus, if you have a mass, it actually creates another body when the amass 2 won't. So I don't know. I'm a pretty big Quarrel's End fan, and I think the Treason is very similar.
What if you do Treason to put the Quarrel's End on top of your library to replay it to dig? Yeah.
I mean, kind of not very mana efficient. Yeah, for a bunch of. All right, but yeah, I don't know. I think spells is an interesting archetype. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm still like, I still have no idea how strong it is. Like, it looks like there is some potential, but I just like don't know if there is going to be enough meat on those bones to actually. Get a working archetype that can consistently be drafted, or are you just like super dependent of opening Gandalf Sanction? Like we compared the Gandalf Sanction to Zenith Flare. Obviously, Zenith Flare is a million times better card.
I was excited about this deck when I didn't have that in my skeleton. Y'all put it in. I think this deck is solid. I don't know. I think that you have a lot of commons that are all doing the same thing, and the go wide with the ping combination should be really powerful, but I'm very ready to be wrong.
No, we will see. I'm again moderately optimistic as I am for every single archetype in general, even the ones that I know are going to be rubbish. But there's always hope before the first pack is being opened.
Oh, of course.
This is one of like 3 archetypes I'm actually excited about.
All right, we have Golgari. Is it my turn again? Who was the last one? Yeah, my turn again.
Yeah, if you look at mine, it's going to be a repeat of Jason's green deck, so it's just a 5-color deck.
I mean, present, share screen. There we go.
Oh wow, look at
And
that one. Oh, you got a spider in there too. Look at this.
Yeah.
Spider Bros.
I think that this. I always like the 1/1 Death Touchers in certain decks.
Oh,
I mean,
me too.
obviously.
I got the 8/8 though.
Oh, the 8/8. I
You've
mean,
done
yeah,
that too. Yeah.
it seems like a decent card, so I thought
Yeah.
I'd put it in. But I'm actually more excited about the Old Man Willow. I mean, I think
Oh,
that this
yeah.
card is actually
Yeah,
relatively good.
the card does read really good.
It's just going to grow very well. The removal aspect of it is probably something that can be abused. Again, I put the whole package of Mordor Masters,
Love to see
Easterling
it.
Vanguards that I can
Yeah.
sacrifice to amass one, then I can sacrifice again to do something else. Obviously, generous ants to revive with the Rise of the Witch King very quickly. So it's sort of like part of Jason's Jaunt, but without the red part.
Oh, you want a Peregrine Took in this deck. Do you have one?
No, I don't have a Peregrine Took in this.
Because whenever you make a token, you generate a food as well. You can just sack your
Oh.
Old Man Willow to.
Oh, that
Yeah.
card's busted.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
a it's a
Yeah,
green
yeah,
and a
yeah.
creature or something.
I totally forgot that it generates food every time I generate a token. In my head, it's just whenever I generate food, it generates food.
Yeah. Because
But
it,
it's
it
not.
probably
No,
is.
no, no, no.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
a green white card, but I think it could definitely be a
No.
green black card. Like
I think that's just a green value card. I think it's that good, but I could be wrong.
yeah. No, now I will keep that option in my mind. But it definitely would fit here like a hand in a glove. I got Trebuchet as well. I think that
Oh,
this
yeah.
card has its advantages if you can sacrifice at instant speed, which there is a couple of ways of doing.
Can you stack the Old Man Willow and the Trebuchet? So you at least like generate the token, and then you could sack the token if you didn't have another token to sack, I guess.
Yeah, because you would stack both. They're both attack
Right,
triggers,
yeah.
correct?
Like you won't get
Yeah.
the 2 damage through, but you
No.
can always
Yeah,
have
yeah.
something if you have like
Yes.
a work. Yeah.
Yeah, if it had like targeted or something, you wouldn't
Right,
be able to. But yeah, since it's just if you stack them right.
Yeah, I also there's a good removal in this. Lash the Balrog in that deck is going to be just pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And that's more or less it. I mean, the main plan is to make sure that you sucker punch the opponents with the Rise of the Witch King early, and if not, then you go for the grind.
Mhm.
And I think
And-
that the fact that this deck and the white black looks similar makes me think that with a bit of splashy help from the partings, you can actually make an Abzan version of it.
That's exactly what I kind of wanted to highlight is that when you're drafting this kind of deck, I think that you just want to keep your eyes open for like the generous partings wheeling and the land that fixes that wheel. Because if you happen to pick up a couple of those, you're just like super open to like open a random or get past a random bomb or like a super powerful uncommon or something. And it'd be super
like
easy to
Denethor
splash.
in this deck would be perfect. No?
Yeah,
Just like
100%. Like it seems really easy to splash in this format. So just keep an eye on that stuff if you're already in green on the wheel.
Oh yeah. And I have to imagine that thing wheels at least week 1 and probably week
Oh yeah.
3 or 4.
Mhm.
All Seed of Hope going
You mean
late.
this or
Oh, no,
no parting.
Yeah, the parting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that gold cards probably won't wheel, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. No, gold cards will go too high and then they'll start to wheel.
Yeah.
All right.
We blue green.
So now, do you want your blue green?
Yeah, we can pull mine up. Yeah. I too leaned into the scrying as one would expect, but
I think that if scrying's gonna work, it's in the blue green shell.
yeah. But yeah, it's got. I mean, there's a lot of fun cards. Like obviously, we've got the 1/3 lookout. That'll be if you're on the draw, whatever, it can be a good blocker. You want to attack with it. You want to pump up your chance mount elves to be a 4/3 on turn 3, and then attack as a 5/4 the next turn. Just seems great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have your skeleton.
Oh, yeah. So
okay. If lookout doesn't work, this deck's not gonna work. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely trying to do tempo stuff. Like you need the lookouts. You want like Watcher, Chance-Made Elves to be like a payoff for Scry. You've got your Knot to remove good blockers to kind of try and tempo them out. And then you have like some evasion with like the Willow Wind or just Quick Beam to give stuff trample to push through. And then some bounce, some interaction. Nothing super crazy, but you can scry with cards you don't want. And then you're just good.
Yeah. I just think that these 4 are just so
Oh yeah,
Good.
those would be silly. If you can actually get them out there and they don't die.
Yeah. Well, you got the Bombadil song to protect them.
And
Yep,
aren't,
yep.
aren't two of them 4 toughness too, which is pretty tough?
I think there's a
Or I
4/4
guess
and
maybe the other.
3/3. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
4, 4, 3, 3, and the
3.
2, 2. They are perfectly aligning in the
Yeah.
in the row. And yeah, I think that if lookouts can enable those things, that's great.
Yeah.
I think that this one also can.
Right. Yeah. That.
sort of.
Yeah. I mean, it's very linear again. It's leaning in the we're just here to scry. We know what we want to do.
Yeah, the
And
problem
he's
is it's A plus B, and those decks very frequently will have a problem that they either draw scry enablers and no payoffs, or all the payoffs and no enablers.
And the hope
then
is scry can help you find what you're missing, ideally.
that is the hope.
Right. Yeah. It may not, but I mean, if there's a deck that can try and be consistent, it seems like this type of deck could maybe get there.
Yeah, so it's funny because like the spells deck and the scry deck are sort of like two aspects of what makes cycling deck in Ikoria so good.
Yeah.
Consistency and inevitability with the massive spell that kills the opponent basically. But they are in two separate archetypes, so maybe it will be neither of them will be good. I'm curious because I want this deck to be good, but every time I want the deck to be good, it sucks.
I think this is going to be a very hard deck to build correctly and draft correctly too. So like, I think it's going to take a while. And like, someone who's just like really good at drafting or something to kind of like figure out the archetype and kind of clue people in, because I don't know, it seems tough, but it seems like it could be very powerful.
Yeah. by the end of week 1 or week 2, we'll probably know like you want to have as many lookouts or as many knots or as many, whatever, or maybe cards not even on here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's closing? Tajoordan is closing with
What's
the
up?
with the Boros deck. That your Boros deck
Yep.
is going to be the final archetype.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. I think my Boros deck is like token aggro. I mean, it's a red-white deck and it's me. Like, it's going to be aggro.
It's red-white. It has red-white cards.
Yeah. Look at that. I even got a rare in there. So yeah,
18 lands. Oh no, wait. You just
yeah, no, I did I apparently forgot to do that mana value flip thing. But so I have a 4 mana combat trick in there that's not supposed to be in there that I must have got, and there's probably a card that costs 4 mana that's up 1 or below it that should be in there. But anyways, the main thing that
You mean you probably wanted the Protector of
Yes,
Gondor?
that's exactly what I wanted. Yes, I wanted one of those because I'm like a red-white tokens deck.
Yep.
Thank you for fixing that for me.
Well, that goes in the 1/1 tokens deck. They become 2/2 tokens.
True. I just don't think that card's that great being a 4-mana sorcery. But my main idea is just to make tokens and try to go wide. There's human synergies with the 3 mana 2/3 uncommon, and then the rally at the Hornbug or whatnot. That gives like double pumps to your team, and so that's pretty cool.
That this is the one,
double strike,
and this is the one.
Yes, both that and Theodem or whatnot can give double strike to a couple of your creatures, and I think that just like this combination with like the 2 drops, you can just kind of try to really go wide and really apply a lot of pressure early. And I don't know if it's going to work. And there should definitely be some of the human equipments in here. There's no doubt that that's an oversight.
There is.
Oh, okay, cool. I did throw it in there. Okay, wonderful. But yeah, I think that this deck is super interesting. I think this is a good spot for the 3 mana 2/3 red card. And I think that card works well with the 2 mana, the 1/1s. And I think the 1/1s are super solid, but I've said that a few times. And this is just really a straightforward aggro deck. If you can, get out ahead, win the coin flip, I think is super important with this deck. And maybe it'll be good. But I was underwhelmed by the white cards in general. And I think that this is really just red cards carrying some gold uncommons, it feels like to me.
Yeah. White removal seems a bit on the lower side of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the Eagles. Oh!
There it is.
Whoa, we got one. Fear, fire, foes.
Well,
yeah.
just make sure not to target your own creature because everything that you have dies to you.
True. I could use a venerated Deloxodon in here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have a Pioneer player.
Oh yeah, watch out! Watch out!
I was so happy I found 4 of them in my junk. And
Ooh, there you go.
yeah, hashtag
I went
value.
digging too. Yeah.
That's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if y'all have different ideas on red white, but I thought that this was really more of a straightforward beatdown deck, and that there wasn't a whole lot of synergies or other things that the deck was really trying to, or the color combinations really trying to put together.
I think mine is almost to the letter identical.
Okay, love to hear it.
Yeah.
Or it's bad for both of us.
Yeah, I think I have an Urkin brand in there. That's just another you play a soldier plus almost out of the team.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, you have one. Yeah, I just saw it.
Oh yeah.
I did have battle scarred goblins. Oh no, you have them. Okay, no, this is
yeah. Okay, so I feel like red white is just an aggro deck, and yeah, it sounds like y'all might agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have. I didn't have the arc. No, I had Urkin brand.
Yeah, I think I'm 37 of these cards.
Yeah, we probably want a second blade. Like, I bet the blade is really good here. But
yeah, especially when you get that, when you can give double strike, that becomes a much better option.
Totally agree.
Okay, how do you feel about the format? Excited to?
I'm excited for it. Like, I think there's some linear strategies that you can really have pop off, but it's gonna be tough to draft them because, like, when do you get into them? What do you see is open? There's a lot of powerful uncommons, it feels like. So maybe you can splish splash a little bit, like we were talking about, like Green X. And then the rares don't see them oppressives. You can actually probably like play your games. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I'm excited that green has a lot of fixing. I'm excited that the rares, for the most part, don't seem super powerful. I'm excited there's not like way too many board wipes just if I play best of one and I don't know and just get ambushed. And I really like that it's a format where like there's just like food tokens. Like I like clues and blood tokens and like all that kind of stuff. The treasure formats are interesting, although treasures are pretty toxic as a game mechanic, so maybe not those. But I'm just excited to see how the games play out and see what I can do. I thought the last couple formats were like not as exciting as some other people. But yeah, I am very excited about this one for sure because there's a lot of cards that I like.
Well, we're gonna see. I mean, I have plenty of doubts how this is gonna play out because this set is just so different in terms of like what I perceive as a power level than the last couple of years of sets that I'm actually curious about how my evaluation skills can match against a format that is so different from what we are playing right now because I have to recalibrate everything. I'm looking at the card. I think it's a D. Huh?
Are all these cards that powerful, or you mean like that bad?
Yeah,
like
that's low. That much less powerful. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. I mean, like Volcanic Bite doesn't draw a card. Like, yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I think that the commons are probably a little step down, but the uncommons there's a lot of power in the uncommons. So
but they are also all legendary. I mean, it's like you can't play this nice game of having multiples of your uncommon because well, I mean you can.
I mean, I just assume the first one's gonna die.
Yeah, I'll just sit with 3 in hand as long as I have every turn with my best card in play. I don't care if I have another one in hand.
I guess we had the good practice with Rayaf in Mum and having multiples of it, didn't we?
I'm curious, and in the past, sometimes you've done drafts where you actually get the viewers to jump in and like run a pod and look at the deck. I don't know if you have time for that or if you think that's a useful thing to do after the deck shells.
Sorry,
if you do those like through Draftmancer and you get us and 5, 6, 7 people that are kind of tuned in and
you mean like should we do a 17 lands?
Yeah. I mean, 17 lands is an option. I'm curious about. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to jump in one with you 2 guys and 5 other people and.
Oh, like on the
Draftmancer, yeah. You're running the show. You can do whatever you want, but I'm curious. I mean,
honestly, I would love to, but I have to wake up very early tomorrow, and it's already midnight. So I think this time we can maybe make a mock draft on 17 lands.
Yeah, go for it.
and let you drive it most of the time.
Yeah,
Because
because
my battery is depleting quite drastically.
Running out of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still have looking at the pile of dishes to wash before I go to sleep. So yeah. 70 lands. Sure. I still didn't play even one on that. Okay. We have our pack one. Let's adjust slightly the size of it.
I know what I'm taking.
Are you taking a mythic equipment?
No, I don't know what that card does.
No, I'm probably on the Gormog over the Rosie personally.
First strike and gets +1/+0 for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand with mana value less or equal than to the damage without paying its mana cost.
Okay.
Wow. We have Rosie Cotton as well. And Gothmog. All of them are pretty solid choices.
Yeah. I'm partial to the Gothmog because I think it's black and it gives you a deep color and you can do some synergies, but I guess Rosie has a lot of synergies too. So
yeah, they both do, but I think Gothmog might be the better one. Especially that we can wield the Oath of the Grey Host and get those spirits with Death Touch.
Oh, we might actually. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what algorithm is doing now. Obviously, Glamdrink would be the money pick. It's probably like 30 quid or something.
Oh, wow. And yeah, I probably would have taken the rally. Just delve straight in.
So what do you... We didn't look at a black... I know my black-red shell has that rare, and it's just looking to amass and just get value, but...
So the rare.
I don't know what else is in here. Yeah.
We have Grond. Some water going down, or?
Yeah.
I hear that somewhere.
Oh yeah, my dog was in the water. Sorry.
My dog is just dead asleep. So we have also the Mouth of Sauron here.
Yeah.
Or the Goblin Orc thingy, which would be good with if we amass quite a lot with those things.
I don't know. I'm super flexible. Yeah. I don't. Probably not a black card though. Like a mono black card, probably not. Yeah.
No, I don't think that they're good enough. We can try the Moria Marauder and see if we can go down the.
What? Y'all are gonna take this? Okay. We're taking the Marauder. Man, my fellowship was looking good.
Well, that's a very good ring bearer.
Yeah, what are they
not wrong. All right.
Yeah.
So there is a goblin.
Yeah.
There is Shelob's Ambush.
I mean, power-wise, I guess it's Faramir. It's not really one playing what we have, but we're only 2 picks in.
I mean, we're 2 picks in. World is our oyster.
Yeah.
That's a good card. Damn it. Yeah, I think Faramir is on. Ooh, look at that. Okay, Grima Wormtongue. You can sacrifice creature to make someone lose if it's legendary amass.
We are drafting
Murder Trebuchet is making stuff if you attack with goblins and orcs.
Yeah, you'd love to wheel that one. Yeah. Yeah, man. Not the strongest cards at pick 4.
Yeah, because we'll do pick Trebuchet, Desperate Rescue, or we pick Grima Wormtongue and hope that.
Didn't we just take a white card? What if we take the Nimble Hobbit and just like lean into the fact that the last white card might have been a signal because it's maybe our best card and it was 3rd pick, but obviously.
But isn't Nimble Hobbit that strong that it's better than this thing?
I think Nimble Hobbit's great, but maybe I'm wrong there. But I'm very excited about that.
Talk me up on Nimble Hobbit. It's a card that I'd see myself not playing as much as you, I think. It's just 1/3 and you want to ring bear it up or block stuff?
It's a 1/3 that like removes blockers. I mean, like, was Bola Slinger good? Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems very strong. If like what you're trying to do is like attack with a ring bearer and it removes their best blocker, like, I don't know. It seems solid.
It's like for a cost.
Mana seeks, yeah. So you can use your mana, yeah.
It's It also sacrifices food, which like the green white deck makes a ton of food and has no aggressive outlets. But
yeah, if you want to lean into it, let's go for it.
I mean, it don't matter. I would have taken a bunch of red 2-drops already. So like, we're not drafting the same deck at all.
Yeah. We took one of your red 2-drops. Yeah.
But I might have not even taken that after taking the red 2-drop.
Oh.
Oh, that's a good card. I mean, every goblin draws your card when it connects.
Yeah.
And if this connects, it's like draws a ton of cards.
True.
I still think that just for consistency, Grima Wormtongue will be okay.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, have all your food. Now you cannot sacrifice it even. So shall we go for the...
I think so, yeah.
Shall we go for the Abzan then? As we announced.
Yeah.
At least we do have our share of legends, so we can have the legend payoffs.
Oh yeah, no, we're doing it.
Right. So here we have second Grima is no go.
Yeah.
Fog is crap, so I guess 2 Creeper.
Yeah, probably a 2-drop. Yeah.
Rah.
Yeah. We're looking for a signal. We're just seeing our format all-star Treason of Isengard.
I mean, the signal is that is wide open.
Yeah.
We can pivot to is it, but what for? Should we pick Lorien Revealed?
Yeah, why not? What else are you gonna take?
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, so we have this scribe guy.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking for something, I mean, it's at least a 2-drop. But are you going to play any of these other cards?
I mean, if we pivot back to spells, maybe Surrounded by Orcs, but
yeah.
But also, it's not like super important. I think that better to get this thing.
Oh, we got that Hobbit.
But the Brandywine farmer.
Yeah.
That makes 3, 4 food.
It's a lot of pieces of cardboard.
Oh, look, we have so many legends. Maybe the Great Hall of the Citadel.
We are going to do 5-color, even if we're not supposed to. Yeah. What do you like, Taj? Do you like the... Yeah.
I think I'll pick the Torment of Gollum, honestly.
So I think it's really interesting that we first picked a black card that I wouldn't have taken, and then we took a black card I wouldn't have taken, and it's very clear that we're leaning into black when black is very cut off. Is just my take. Like, there's no black cards ever, and like we forced every black pick. So like the idea of taking another black card when there are like other good options in green and white is wild, because green and white has constantly been the cards that are open. But also it's a
question is, are those good cards? I think the best card is probably this Bewitching Leechcraft, honestly.
I think that the green and the white cards are probably the 2 best cards left in the pack. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think it's very clear that we're not evaluating the 1/3s for 2 the same.
I think that this is the case. That I don't value that Nimble Hobbit that highly. I think that Bewitching Leechcraft is not a card I'm super stoked about, but
see, that's a card I wouldn't put in my decks, and I would probably play 3 Nimble Hobbits. Like, I'm just like looking at things differently currently. So yeah, I don't think we should listen to me, but I also don't think we should be drafting black at all, because it's not open at all.
No, I mean we've got 2 black cards. We took like pick 1, pick 3, and I feel like we've looked at other colors since then. But
yeah, the thing is, like, we know blue and red are open. That's for sure. In this iteration of the bots, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't mind being nimble, seeing what's up there.
I don't think there's any blue and red cards.
Take Brandywine Farmer.
We could do that too. Yeah, but yeah, something in the Selesnya space.
Yeah, we can supplement it with black if we get like some good stuff. How about Second Breakfast?
Please don't.
Yeah, I'm really hesitant to play that card. I mean, I guess if 1/3s just keep running into each other, maybe it does something.
That's I think exactly is what it is. In the world of 1/3s running into each other, your 3/4 is all of a sudden the king, especially post combat, and it makes food, or 2 food if you have Terran.
Yeah, I'm either taking another 1/3, or I mean, if you want to take the Second Breakfast, it's dinner time for me, so I'm hungry. I can get behind it. But
oof, dinner time, atrocious. Do I want to pick another 1/3? Is that how my life?
I think
Will
it's going to be
turn.
1/3 the format. So
I mean, at least we're staying open to the scry deck. Okay, slip on the ring.
I mean, we're probably not playing. I mean, you can maybe take Torment or like the blue card, but
Imagine the slip on the ring with Brandywine Farmer is just a house.
oh man, food for days.
It
It is leaves
makes-
the battlefield actually.
Yeah. It makes it on every step of the way. Leaves makes 2 food with Fragment.
And you know what? If
Comes
they're really
back.
scared of our farmer and they want to try and kill it, we can just slip on the ring then too. Yeah.
Yeah, if they really want to kill it. No, I mean this is
I don't mind slip on the ring. I mean, we do have some legends they may want to try and kill, so you might side it in, but
right then. Okay.
man, we're 1/3 tribal.
Oh, that's actually a weird choice.
Yeah.
Where did those cards come from? Where are they coming from? I never seen them before. Actually, Bag and Porter might not be terrible in our deck. We have some legends. It's a 4-mana 4/4. Whenever it attacks, it becomes bigger.
Oh yeah, I'm down for that. I mean, it's not a 1/3, but it is something. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Gandalf the White.
And Frodo. Man, oh man.
When you may cast legendary spells and artifacts as though they have spells, if a legendary permanent or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers additional time.
So it's probably worse than a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm probably on Frodo. Frodo seems just fantastic for our deck.
And then hope to wield the Gandalf so we can get Frodo twice.
Or just make all for 1/3 is just silly. Yeah.
Do you want to dive into green white though?
I mean, what do you want to dive into? Most of our cards are green white.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You could just take another white card or green card. It don't matter. You can take whatever.
Okay, let's just trim on the sides the cards that wait. Oh, Nimble Hobbit.
No, we need all of our Nimble Hobbits. Got to keep that in there.
Go back to the pile.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't. This is not really an Nimble Hobbit deck. We don't have all the aggressive cards. But
oh, that's an aggressive card, as you can see. 1/3 stat line. That's pretty aggressive. How much more?
Are you on
aggressive do you want?
Faramir then, or are you on Gandalf? Like, what do you think, Taj?
I mean, is this green white card good? I might just take the Watchdogs, but I don't know.
Frodo is
I'm
good if you want to do
lower
the.
curves, I think.
If you want to do the ring bearer stuff, then Frodo is the person. And I think the Mushroom Watchdogs are a thing that you can hope on wheeling. So I would take Frodo because that will.
Yeah, I think I'm on Frodo too. Yeah.
If you play it early, it just like goes so quickly. Oh, wow,
now
Rosie
we've got
Clifford.
Rosie.
That's perfect. I think that we got a good game of playing legendary stuff. Now we can have a choice of another Rosie or Mushroom Watchdogs, and that's trickier. But maybe because we already have one Rosie, we can go for the Watchdogs.
Yeah, I like the dogs. Yeah, we do have to eventually attack with non-1/3 creatures, but
well, I mean, Rosie makes non-1/3s.
Yeah, it makes it bigger.
I think that we can afford to take Rosie because we have a bunch of 2-drops already, but I could.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
go on
good.
Oh, that's decent for us.
There you go. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Shivan Butt.
Ooh, so you have Reprieve, but then we have another food thing. So, like, people who've actually played with Remand, like, I imagine Reprieve's going to be pretty good.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's pretty busted if your deck has, like, a decent clock, and you're always going to win on tempo in this. So we don't have that much interaction, so maybe we can take the Reprieve.
Speaking of interaction, yeah. Got a little sting there.
Yeah, well, I don't want to. What happened here? Why can't I?
Oh, do you have to go back down and move it over?
Oh, weird. Yeah, this is weird.
Huh. Oh.
There we go. I think we're good now.
We can have Bombadil Song or Sting. I mean, Sting is better.
Yeah, it feels like some removal for this deck. Oh. Do we want to eat our foods?
I mean, I guess that for us, Pippin's Bravery is not the best choice in this deck.
Yeah, we'll make
enough food.
We'll have to block stuff. We might actually want the 3-2 because we have some scryers on 2.
The bow is also a good
yeah.
method.
I didn't see the bow. Yeah, bow makes us be able to attack.
Yeah. 2 creeper, I guess.
I kind of prefer the plane cycler because, like,
yeah, I like the flyer plane cycler.
Oh, there's this one. Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't think we want a 2-1 that tempts.
Yeah.
I like a Bombadil song.
Yeah, protect
to have
more legends. Yeah.
Oh, look, we have another plane cycler. Armor. Envelope.
Oh yeah, there's your. How many halflings do we have to proc that?
I mean, it doesn't.
Oh, we have loads. I mean, we have Frodo. We have Nimble.
Oh yeah, nice.
2 creeper. Peregrine Took, Farmer, Rosie Cotton, East Farthing Farmer.
We got the Shire.
We got the Shire.
Yeah.
So Mary is going to be fine. Oh, another Frodo.
And 1/3 tribal. Get it.
Or the ultimate ring bearer, Fangorn, the Tree Shepherd.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to kill that on blocks. Yeah.
I mean, it's true. But I guess it's too expensive for what we were planning to do. So let's go with Frodo.
I just assume you're on 15 lands with your 2 plane cyclers. So
obviously, duh.
A joke.
I think we can have another porter here. They're going to be really good. I mean, look how many legends we have.
Yeah,
What is the porter? Isn't it cost 4 mana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you looking at the 1-drop, Taj, or are you looking at?
I'm always looking at the 1-drop.
I mean, that's going to be 3 to proc. So, ooh, okay. I kind of like that 6-drop to make all of our 1/3s.
Yeah.
Beat.
And it's another legend.
Yeah. What are our 1-drops here? So we've got the pumper that'll probably cost 3 to pump, and then that's a 2-drop. The man. We probably don't want the mana dork, but
I mean, we don't really want that mana dork. We don't have that much to rump to, and I think the Esquire is going to be just fine too.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's a mana sink. Yeah.
How about second breakfast?
I mean, I'm not going to stop you. I don't know if I'm playing anything in this pack.
I mean, there's nothing in here anyway.
Yeah.
You might as well. I mean, what are you going to think? Pacifism? Ooh.
Oh.
Butterbear.
You know, man, we're eating good.
Look at the legend count in this deck. I mean, probably we have to remove those lookouts. I mean, yeah.
We didn't even draft the 3-2. Okay. We probably don't want the 1/1s that make a food on enter and exit. They're pretty clunky.
Oh, yeah. We can easily remove them.
Yeah, we didn't get any watchdogs. We didn't have one of those wheel. Yeah.
Cavalier. What about third breakfast?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we have to.
I guess so.
I mean,
yeah.
all those things just go, but
I don't like it. I don't think it's very good. But I don't think any of the cards. I don't know. I think it was a weird draft.
Yeah.
It's probably okay.
I mean, it's going to try and do ring tempting stuff and cycle or loot away. But I mean, you can make stuff big. You've got the rosies.
so we have 30 cards. We need to remove some of them.
I would get rid of
I
the
guess
slip.
one
off the
Eagles.
Ring. Yeah, I would cut Eagles and a slip the ring and a second breakfast.
Can't have fun. I mean, obviously the envelope.
Oh, yeah.
I think one bow can go.
Yeah, the revive the Shire. Yeah.
Oh, it got so much lag. Revive the Shire.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what that does. We probably don't need that 2/2, do we?
It's a
We got one of the
regrowth.
better ones?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it, but we are at 23 cards, so I'm thinking we're happy times.
Oh, okay. We got there. Nice. And we
And
can
a 2
probably
drop.
play 16. I don't know. You probably want 17 land. You've got 4s and 5s and 6s.
I mean, if you play 16, you can put 1 Brandivine Farmer.
Yeah, and who wants one of those?
I mean, it's not great, but it has some merit.
Yeah, it's not bad with our 3-drops like Took and Rosie.
It's like, honestly, we just missed on Sam to have the whole
And I guess it's a lower power format, so it probably looks worse than it'll actually play out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it doesn't look exceptionally strong, but in terms of like, quote unquote defensive speed, I mean, it's going to be tough to attack through all these 1/3s, and then you can just make them bigger with Rosie or, with your Ant or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think that with Frodo's, you will.
Frodo can get in, yeah.
Yeah, but with Frodo, you also speed run to the 4th level of the ring because we have so many legends, and every legend you play, you're just gonna get closer to get the ring.
Oh yeah,
You
can lean into that for sure.
And at that point, anything becomes a threat, and especially 1/3s, as we learned.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna lose to Frodo day 1. I'm sure of that. It's going to come down on turn 2, and they're going to protect it with my first removal spell.
Well, that's why you just bolt it main phase. You got your 3 mana for 2, or 3 damage for 2. Just hit it.
I hope so. Yeah, if I'm not drafting red like you, if I'm in some dirtly blue-green scry thing, yeah.
You better have your counter a power toughness 2 or less then.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or just
I'll balance it and counter
-1 and get a ring bearer in black.
Yeah.
All right. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to. On Friday, I'm going to play my pre-release, so that will be my first contact with the cards.
Awesome. Yeah, report back.
I will definitely report back. Benji and Adam, do you have anything to plug what you're going to do content-wise in the next weeks?
Not too much, no. I think this was the main one that I can think of.
Where can we bloody find you?
Oh, nowhere these days. Yeah, I've been in a lot less Twitch streams and stuff because my second monitor died, so my only options are to play Magic or watch Twitch, and I typically just play Magic then. But you can still find me a lot on Twitter at twitter.com/Tajoordan, and also in the Draft Lab Discord. I'm always there, and I'm also in a lot of other like limited focus Discords. So you can always send me a message on Discord or something too, but primarily Twitter right now, I would say.
Yeah. And I guess for me, I'm going to do the Twitter thing as well, but I'll probably be streaming team drafts and pod drafts for the most part once the format gets kicking. So like Isaiah does peeps and keeps, and I try and do that whenever I can. And then Springbok has a team draft Discord. So, I mean, feel free to reach out to me or any one of those people. And yeah, we can get in some pod drafts or team drafts and have some fun. And Tajoordan's in the team draft thing too. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. That is actually nice to watch, I assume.
Yeah, it's very neat. The decks and the drafting is just very different. Yeah, and we're all friendly there. We're not, playing for paying dinner or anything like that. Just to have a good time. So, yeah.
Just bragging rights, and that's enough.
Pretty much, yeah.
In this kind of environment, I know that bragging rights can be quite valuable.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. It's been, as always, awesome to run the skeletons. And yeah, hopefully end of the week, I'm doing the set review. So if you're interested in listening to me and Trumpetman talking for 6 hours.
Yeah. Is that Friday as well?
No, it's going to be Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
He's Pacific. So we need to really find good days that we can both be insane times for either of us and be able to stream. So I think he's doing morning and I'm doing evening, and that's only on the weekend it's possible. So yeah.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
Always a pleasure. All right,
just the opportunity.
And shout out to Sander Kirstens. Miss you, bud.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well. I'm sure Kirstens will be back next time, but
he's going to be back full Eldraine.
Ooh, there we go. The Wilds.